who is going to be prepared?
Nobody.
To get bit
No,
by
when a rattlesnake
rattlesnake.
bites me, my blood pressure's going up.
Well, I don't know what prepared looks like. I mean, nobody's got the antivenom.
I mean,
So
I
that's-
wear.
That's what I'm asking.
that's
What
what
do
I'm
you
saying.
do?
The
You
biggest thing
yeah.
is supposedly, I think, is to stay calm
Yep.
and not. Yeah, I'm not saying it's what I would do.
That's what I was hoping for. HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Deer Grow.
Man, we've been using Deer Grow products for a long time. The Plot Start and Plot Boost, more recently Plot Till. Now we've got 3 new liquid fertilizers that have been put in the mix that will cover everything we could want for a food plot program.
It's huge, man. The more food plotting we do, it's like, man, the liquids just make sense. Like whether it's herbicides or the Plot Start and Plot Boost, and now the fertilizers getting mixed in. It's like, man, I can combine all of those in certain cases and do less passes for more results.
I mean, it's all about efficiency. I mean, like you said, less passes. If you're out there treating your beans with glyphosate in the summertime, you can mix in this fertilizer, do that all at once. You have the boost in there to help some metabolism. It's all about efficiency when we're talking about food plots. And really, the big difference on these liquid fertilizers is you're bypassing some of these soil limitations, pH limitations, the soil type. In a lot of cases, we talk about dry fertilizers only being available for 17% of what you put down in the first year. These liquid fertilizers straight into the plant are 90% available in the first year. Huge difference in what you're going to see in growth.
It's huge. And so right now you can use code HUNTR15 for 15% off any of the Deer Grow products on their website. And as always,
Better food plots, bigger deer. And we're back.
heyo,
HUNTR Podcast, episode 183.
no neck to keep us in line, but 83 sounds right.
Not his wedding, but a wedding.
Yeah, kind of crappy day for a wedding. It's
Ugh.
pouring out there.
Yeah, it's first day that's been under like 70 degrees in a while too.
Yeah, kind of gross. But hey, wherever you guys are coming to us from, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, why can't I ever remember those?
Apple Podcasts is
Wherever
right.
you're listening to, yeah, we appreciate you guys being here. Give us a like, follow, or subscribe, whatever's appropriate for the channel. And if you've written us on, I saw a couple on email and DM and stuff. We do try to keep up with those, but we get behind from time to time, so just bear with us. But here we go.
Here we go. We have in-studio guests today.
Yeah.
Well, the guys from the Untamed, huh? West Virginia boys. We have been on just like an insane roll of like southern guests here
Josh
recently.
just sounds southern. West Virginia is not really southern.
That's how he's going to start this
Please,
podcast?
don't start.
You believe that?
We're below the Mason-Dixie line.
Holy cow.
Oh, so I guess that is southern West Virginia, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you,
West Virginia is like the south of the north, though.
It's the best of the two Virginias.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Well, it's certainly the western of the two.
yes. I mean, I think you have to consider West Virginia south.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
What's directly south of West Virginia?
Virginia, essentially.
Oh, see, I don't even consider Virginia. That's like the middle.
His geography is not the best.
Yeah, it's not your history. Your history.
Let's go Civil Warians.
Your history's not very good.
Well, I'm younger than you, so that's probably true. You were more closely related to the
To the Civil War.
Let me ask you this: when you were in the Civil War, did all Virginians fight for the South in the Southern War? It was the middle ground, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
But
West Virginia would be the North, right?
Well, the rule,
as far as that
the rule
was-
is Mason-Dixon
It's the
line.
Mason-Dixie line, which is the straight line
That's our Pennsylvania border.
on West Virginia.
It's the Pennsylvania border. Really,
Mhm.
anything south of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's that.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the straight line on the Pennsylvania border is
Yep.
Mason-Dixie line.
South,
Yeah.
south,
Gotcha.
north. Yep. So even Maryland is south.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't
Part
consider
of it.
that south at all.
Well,
No.
especially not D.C. We don't claim
yeah.
them at all.
Well, you could, these days you can identify as whatever you want. So you guys identify as Southern gentlemen.
Yeah, we're Southern
All right, all
gentlemen.
right. Well, there you go. Yeah,
There you go.
4 or 5 in a row. We had Joe Miles and
Mhm.
who
The
was
Lindsays from Georgia.
the Lindsays, yeah, from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been nice.
Just
Southern,
stacking
little
them in.
Southern hospitality.
Yeah, Joe, he's South Carolina. He's for sure South.
Yeah.
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 I think that our food kind of relates more towards the South too.
Yeah.
Okay.
As
A little more spice.
as opposed to the northern,
Mm-hmm.
even like dealing with Cole. He's from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff.
So he's not used to eating collard greens and stuff.
Some of the stuff that we eat, he don't. He's like, huh?
yeah.
You know.
He's just eating cheese up there.
Yeah, he's a cheesehead, and he is. He's a cheesehead.
I do love a good cheese.
Yeah. It was funny when we walked in. He's like, "I'm cool." I was like, "I know you."
Yeah, he did look vaguely familiar.
Yeah,
So what'd you say he filmed with or interned with the THP for a while? Where
Last year he interned with them. He was with them there the second half of the year.
That's cool.
We saw him at one of the shows when we were with all those guys.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Dude, those guys are probably putting a lot of people into the industry. Like, Midwest Whitetail for a long time was like, that was the entry.
They went through that boot camp.
Well, I know they
all
did.
those guys. That's where they came from, and that's
That's
what they're doing now.
Yeah.
And it's actually great. I mean, if you go intern for them, you get a vast amount of experience and knowledge.
Yeah.
And because they really expect a lot out of their interns.
Yeah.
And that's when Cole had reached out. We had been looking for somebody full time because of just production issues.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, don't be afraid to pull that mic right in on you.
Sorry.
Sit where you're comfortable. Pull it in on you, though.
Okay.
Got it, brother.
You
No,
get
you're
it
good.
right here. Like I'm not.
He'll get it in a minute.
Yep.
He'll get it in a minute.
You got it.
We'll get it.
You got it.
So we were subcontracting everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very hard to what we were doing. We were averaging one video a week, which is hard anyway because of all of our.
That's nearly impossible.
We're
from a
maxing.
subcontract
Yeah, we're maxing out at
standpoint.
1 week, so you
Yeah.
beat us.
Yeah. Well, I mean it. I think if we did this full time, one a week is. I mean, it's one a week doing what we do is tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only tough on us; it's tough on our families. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices being made all around.
Mm-hmm.
Because Zach runs his own company, I run my own company. Jay's medical sales rep, coaches baseball. I coached baseball until last year. We've all got children,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're making time to do the Untamed.
Yeah.
So it really strung us out. And then when Cole reached out, we were like, yeah, this
No brainer, man.
yeah, and he's fitting right in. So I think it's going to be a great thing that he was willing. There are not a lot of people willing to move to southern West Virginia.
No, man.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in today's society. I mean, everybody wants to be like, well, we can all just work remote. And in a lot of
Right.
cases you can, but for this gig, no.
It's very hard, and that's the other thing with the subcontracting is it's great, and we made it work, but like you can't be hands on. They miss stuff in the content that should be in there unless you're making notes and sending them to them, and it's just a hassle. When you got somebody there,
Mm-hmm.
it's just everything's just so much better. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
And you don't miss a whole lot of stuff.
Does that happen a whole lot anymore? I mean, I think that was a big deal, like when there was a consistency, like you had 13, 22-minute episodes on the Outdoor Channel. Like, it was simple enough for me to compile all the footage from these different hunts and send it to, like, Modern Legacy or, like, Hidden Thicket or something and be like, here's what we want, do this. And then they have the ability to take and carry that through. Whereas nowadays, most guys, and you are too, it's more of like a real time, real time type of like
we call it semi-real time.
Yeah. Semi-real time. Yeah. And so it's tougher probably for them to keep up with a pace of that or like to have a consistency of a feel. So like we do the same thing. It would be really difficult, I think, even though our show is format-wise relatively the same week to week. Nick is typically here, every week. He's sitting through the conversation. Like there's a tangibility that comes from like being a part of like where moments happened and stuff like that. And
that's exactly what being a part of them moments makes it so much.
Because otherwise, how would you know? He's like, you're just going to watch the footage, root through everything and be like, here's what I think is this and that. And
I mean, when you're subbing it like that, it puts a lot on them guys too, just because they are having to try to paint that picture in their head of what the hell went on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
During that hunt. And there's little stuff like Josh said that they can miss that, they might not even, if they was there, they know. They remember that moment.
Yeah.
They were a part of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's like when we cut up our clips. Because here's the thing is like what you're talking about versus today is like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Completely different.
F&A.
From a standpoint, you just say it too.
Get comfortable with that mic.
Yeah.
Twist it. They're directional, so feel free to twist it. Like, yeah, exactly.
But
I'm gonna be moving.
I know.
I can't sit still, so I'm gonna be moving.
Don't
over
worry,
here,
you'll be
moving over
fine.
here.
If you got Josh in
Yeah.
there for
If you want
4
to,
hours, he might be in that room in there.
I know you're gonna have to reschedule your meeting here tonight. If you want this, that's gonna hide your face a little bit. You can do what I did here, turn it up. There you go, And this guy right here, get tight on him, and that's what. Yeah, you look good now.
That'd be
Oh,
fine.
I like that.
Yeah, we don't want to block his face.
Yeah, that's the money maker, right?
I know. Okay,
But-
get that out of the way early.
But I think like with those guys, like I mean, we're putting out social clips. You know, you got reels, you've got TikTok, or whatever. Like if they're not in that, and that's why Nick, when he's in these positions, like he's listening to this, he'll know what he's going to cut up anyways before he even edits the final production piece.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
we
so
we
tough.
do help them too. So I mean, funny enough, like I listen to all of our podcasts back. Like number one, because I enjoy them. Number two, because I can help Nick pinpoint some stuff. Like, and it's hard to know why you're having the conversation. The same way while you guys are filming. I mean, you may or may not know. Like, oh, this is a thing here we need to have. Nice, right? Yeah, good for you.
I don't know if it's good or not.
Oh, it's
Full
good.
throttle and
it's good.
Woodford.
Well, I don't know about the mix between the two.
So when I listen back to them, I can say, I can help them out. Say, hey, there was a good one there. It seems like a coherent thought, which really, I mean, that's the hardest part to find in our conversation. So if I can find one of those, that's what we turn into a clip,
Yeah, and that's key. I mean, and having somebody like Nick here, and then having somebody like Cole,
Yep.
it just makes sense. It's like you go back and forth on like business decision wise whether you can afford to bring somebody on full time.
Mhm.
But it's like you can't not afford to bring him on.
Well, dude, you guys probably had this
If that makes
conversation
sense.
recently with Bo, right? They were just turkey hunting with
Yep.
Bo, and I know he's kind of going through a transition right now.
Well, he talked to me about it. He's like, man, he said, I really think I need to bring somebody on full time. I was like, Bo, I said, I'm gonna tell you, I don't think you can afford not to bring
I know.
somebody on.
Yep.
And it's just like, can we really afford it? Probably not, but we're gonna make it work.
Well,
because
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
the affordability's down the road.
Well, and I mean that's like
That's right.
I've
Yeah.
talked with Bo because like I have an agency that we do production and stuff, and so Bo and I've talked, and I was like, dude, I'll quote you out, but like the reality is if you can find the right person that's young and hungry, it's probably going to be same cost and or cheaper, just because of the way that I have to operate with my business, and it's so. Yeah, there's a learning curve there. There's there's a risk involved. I mean, Jared and I've gone through it where we've brought in, 2 interns that were like, man, these guys are going to be great. And one lasted a month, 2 months, maybe.
Yeah. That was the North Dakota trip.
Yeah. I mean, he broke quick. And then, the other one had lasted quite a bit before he took another job. But, you just don't know. So if you gamble and you bring somebody in, even if they are super talented, and then 4 weeks in, it's like, holy shit, like this isn't working.
Well, it's hard, right? Because we're all pretty transparent. Like the outdoor industry, like in the content creation sector, is not a super lucrative business, at least initially. Like it's a grind, like you were saying earlier. Like it's a long road to making money. That's why most of us, if any of us get it, we don't get into it for that reason. We're like, I want to make a bunch of money. Let's start a podcast in the hunting industry. Right? It just doesn't really happen that way. And I told you this earlier, we do it because we're having the conversations regardless. This is what Jeremy and I just really care about. And over time, we've enjoyed the people that we've gotten to kind of rub shoulders with, and the impact I think that the conversations will have in the long term is why we're doing it. And so fortunately, just like you guys, this is not our primary business.
Right.
While it is, I think, our primary passion, it's not the main way that we make money. We're in real estate together. Jeremy's got his own marketing business. My wife and I have the ice cream business that I mentioned. So those things produce our primary income, and we don't make money from the podcast, transparently. Almost all of it goes back into the business, and most of that goes to Nick in a salary.
Pays Nick.
Yeah.
And it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're just looking down the road.
That's it.
And you
Long term,
and
it's
you have
building
to.
it. Yeah.
And if you're not in it, I mean, like interns, people want to get in the industry. Like if you're not in it for the long haul, just keep on enjoying hunting and doing your deal.
It's a tough gig. You talk about, bringing in that right person. Like, let's consider like all of us are super passionate about it. And, I think all of us have probably had a camera in our hands here at some point filming it. But the reality is like, I want to be hunting, not necessarily filming and producing and doing all that in real time behind the scenes. Right. So it takes a kind of a strange breed there in that like they have to understand it and hopefully have a passion for it, but not so much to where they're not okay with missing out on
especially
a large chunk
in your
of the
guys'
season.
Position. Like so Nick's not even a hunter. Nick's never been hunting. He's not doesn't come from a hunting background. He has like just some media experience, and he is just young enough and willing enough to like be here. And we click as people.
That's another thing too, is clicking as people.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys have even another layer where like he's got to be at least decent at hunting. He's got to get in a tree with you. He's got to, what's happening here.
Ground with you.
All Nick's got to do is sit here and like understand conversation, and we can teach him all that.
Have you guys had some bad cameramen in the past?
We've had some green.
We've had some green cameramen. We've had actually decent cameramen, but green outdoorsmen.
Yeah, stepping on the sticks, and you're like, dude.
That's like one or the other half the time, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we've been pretty fortunate.
That's awesome, man, because you hear horror stories out there.
We've lost a couple interns that have just quit, you know. But it's like when you're talking to these guys, and everybody's amped up. They want the job, so they're like, I love it. I'm, you tell me, hey, this is a different level.
Yeah, a lot of them they love it on the weekends.
Yeah. They get to hunt with their dad and their papa, and that's great. And I do. But like when you're out there, I mean, the first 16 days. I mean, and this is just using turkey season as an example. The first 16 days of the season, we were all up at 3:15. We hunted till legal time at 1:00 in the afternoon, getting out of the woods at 3, and then we go to work. We did that 16 days straight, and that's driving an hour and a half.
And they're producing probably when they get out of the woods.
And then, Cole's having to work and download footage.
Yeah, you're not getting that's what we was talking about on the way up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to get the turkey naps. So you go turkey hunting in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And then you come home. You ain't got no responsibilities. You just kick back and
crank a little food in, and then just boom. Put the recliner back and
your
lights
out
out.
For a while,
That's the only reason I will turkey hunt.
Oh, it's the best. Those naps are like the best in the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, critical.
Yeah,
gotta have
it. But like it's a grind. Like it's a different passion.
Wait, so you're not taking turkey naps anymore?
No.
What happened to those?
Work.
Kids.
Oh,
financial responsibility.
Jared's just got to handle dogs, so he can just put them in the crate while he takes
I got a
nap.
bunch of dogs I could use some help with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
my dogs are, easy to handle. I got two. They're high strung. I got 2 Brittany Spaniels.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you, Josh?
48.
48. How many kids you got?
1.
All right. How old are you, Zach?
34.
Right on. Cool. I'm your age. I'm 31.
Yeah.
Jeremy's 40. Yeah, he just turned 40.
Mm-hmm.
The big 4-0.
Yeah, man. Over the hill, man.
That's it.
Hey, it's all uphill from here. Only thing going to go away is your eyesight.
Yeah. Well, you don't look 48 for what it's worth. I'd have gave you.
Like he starts off by saying you weren't Southerners. Now he comes right back around and says, "Man,
I want to hear what it's going to give me."
I gotta make up. Yeah, well, the beard is deceiving. So you got that nice, Southern skin. So you could pass for late 30s if you wanted to.
See there,
late 30s.
Yeah.
Next thing you know,
Jeremy's looking good too. Nick was complimenting your skin, and you're looking buff.
I'm getting carded when I get drinks out.
Wow.
I'm like, "Geez, this is amazing."
Yeah.
But then they get a bigger tip for sure. But that's probably the move.
What a weird stage in life where people don't know if I'm like 25 or 45.
A lot of time they think we're the same age.
Yeah, which I'm for. I think that's
They also think you're on steroids, but
yeah, I'm actually not. So for anybody,
he's definitely on the juice.
No, somebody wanted to see a blood test. I was like,
did they really?
Yeah, I was like, first of all, I'm not like to that level. Like, I think you can pinpoint guys that are juicing.
That's got to be like the best flattery ever. Like if you're a natural guy and everybody just thinks you're on roids, like. Mission accomplished, right?
I guess.
Isn't that the whole point?
People just don't know though, because like I'm at a level of fitness that I think is like above most people.
You're a gym
but I'm
rat.
not.
You're in the gym every day.
No,
every day.
Is he a meathead?
No, 4 or 5 days
he's
a
not
week.
made it to that level yet.
No, you know what's funny about him
in the past, probably.
If you look at him in the gym, like you're gonna say, like that dude is like just like this is all he does.
I go hard in the gym.
Over the top on supplements, which I don't think you are.
Well, right now And this is all it's ever been. This would be the maximum.
Pre-workout,
creatine.
Still doing C4.
I'm doing some creatine right now. Oh yeah, definitely C4.
It's been like that for 10 years.
Well, yeah, and I'll go off 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off, just to, keep it. Your body wants new stuff and whatever, and protein.
Yep.
But I have just reached a level of like intensity in the gym, and honestly, what fuels it is a desire to eat crap. Like I want to just eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
And also to have those hunts on the horizon. Like we got the mule deer hunts and stuff coming up, and so like, I look kind of crazy, but I'll put my Kuiu pack with 100 pounds in it, and I'll get on a stepper at Planet Fitness, especially at Planet Fitness, because everybody else is, 60 and overweight. Right. So,
but the meatheads there, like cut off shirts and stuff. He's wearing sweatpants and beat up shoes and that shirt and a hat, and rucking a pack on the stepper.
I get them bicep genetics is what just
that's exactly what it is.
Like they just curl up there. So
yeah.
I just worked out hard as a teenager, and so I've got my body knows what it's doing. So when I get back in there, it just works. So yeah.
He also consumes a lot of calories a day.
But wait, how does it turn about me? I was complimenting Josh on how good he looks for 48, but.
I feel good. I mean, I don't feel 48.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I get around the woods.
Well, shit, dude. I was gonna say the stuff you're hunting, the movements you're making.
I give him a lot of hell, just because I do and I can. But
that's what we do.
I do have to give it to him. He does get around in the woods.
Heck yeah.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, and that's no flat ground.
See how many cans of Coke he brought?
I know. I was like, man, and you're like, I gotta get out of here at noon. I'm like, really?
Oh, no,
yeah, we're gonna finish them before we get out of here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll eat half of it. Yeah, I love it.
Oh
yeah,
shit.
I mean, I think being in shape is great.
You couldn't do what you're doing if you weren't in somewhat good shape.
We're not in great shape. I think a lot of it's your mind, man.
Yeah.
And what's in your chest.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at hunting hard, it goes back to how much you can take, and just because if you're out there, you're creating opportunity. You're putting odds in your favor. I think that if you ain't got no heart and you want to lay in the bed and warm leg it, it's all good. Oh no, I like warm legging. You know that.
What is it? Warm legged?
Warm legging. We call it warm legging.
What's that?
When you decide to sleep in that morning with that warm leg strapped over you. Your wife?
Oh, yeah.
You know how she throws that leg over
Right.
you?
You're going to throw that at Margie this weekend. Be like, hey, you want a warm leg in this weekend?
Warm leg out.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Anytime one of us is laid or we decide to sleep in, it's because we're warm legging.
Dude, my wife and I have I think it's just I don't think it's a cow. It's just a king size bed. We sleep on the extreme, like our arms and legs are hanging off the opposite side.
Got all that space
we could both throw our arms in the middle, and we probably still couldn't find each other.
She don't ever catch the alarm going off and throw that leg over you?
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's what warm legging is when they hit that alarm and you're looking at the phone and they take their leg and their arm and throw it over you.
Oh, yeah.
She's usually sleeping later than you are because she's worked late.
Yeah. Well, she's got my wife works hard.
Mm-hmm.
She so during the season, so we're a seasonal business. That's the benefit. But during the season, she's at the shop at 9 and it's 25 minutes away, and she gets home at like 11:15 at night. So, and she's got about a 3-hour break from 4 to 7, which is,
Is she getting a day off a week now still? Or no?
Yep. And so now, and that didn't happen probably till year 3. We're in our 5th season now. We bought it from her dad in March of 2020.
Well, dude, during ice cream season, your warm legging time is very decreased.
Limited.
Yeah.
Limited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you worry though. I get plenty of warm legs during the off season. Yeah. Well, the problem is as soon as because we wrap up,
it's snuggling with the dogs during ice cream season.
And I do feel bad about how the timing works. Yeah, 3 dog night. Heard that one. That's where my legs are at. So, and it's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. As soon as ice cream season wraps up and she all of a sudden has this free time now, that's deer season starts, and I'm like, my time's now invested there. So it's like, hey, I'm glad we're done here. I'll see you in December type of a deal. So, but it works out. So like the most warm legging happens I'm going to say January, February, because I'm fairly wrapped up at that point. Season doesn't start again until March. So we get,
hibernators.
Well, we're just, we maximize our time together at that point. If we're going to get a vacation and once a year, that's when it happens. We make the most of it. But.
Well, I mean, you have to. I mean, it's you got to give them time.
Or you can have a friend a buddy of yours that schedules your week-long turkey hunt starting 2 days.
I thought you were going to say fill in for you with the.
No. I
was like, well, that must be a really good friend.
No, we don't go down that route.
We don't.
No intermingling.
What do they call
like
it?
that.
Co-mingling?
We call it cuckling.
We call it cuckling. Yeah, we don't.
No, that's just watching.
We don't participate
technically,
in that.
but
Yeah.
But
Well,
what I was saying was you have a good buddy that schedules a week-long turkey trip 2 days prior to Mother's Day. And expects you to take off and go to where we ending up? New Hampshire?
Yeah, New York, Mass, New Hampshire.
oh, it's gonna be through Mother's Day. You guys are out.
Oh yeah, this
Mother's Day Sunday.
I know.
Yeah, we're not going back home.
I'm gonna be in some hot water, huh?
Hot water. He asked me on the way up here. He said, "You get a little." What'd you say?
I said you get your willy wet. Last night.
No, not that part.
Oh.
Not that part. You said.
So you did or did not?
Negative. Did not.
Yeah.
Get to the GW.
I think this all ties together to missing Mother's Day.
You said
No wet willy when you do that.
Yeah, you're not getting nothing. No, you're struck out. You said, did she give you insinuate give me down the road?
Did you get it hard last night? And you went, yeah, I got. No, I said, did you catch
Your mind's in the gutter.
any hell last night? And you said, yeah, I caught all of it.
Yeah, I caught the whole damn thing.
I caught
The whole damn thing. Yeah.
I was smart. Yesterday, I went and got my wife a gift.
Oh, you threw the early Mother's Day.
Couple cards. She came back from the track meet. I was cooking dinner. I'd already told the boys to get home after practice because I got a nephew too that lives with us, and he works for me. So I told him, "You're not leaving until we have dinner. We're gonna do Mother's Day."
Yep.
He didn't tee you up like that, did he?
No, he gave me a.
It was already set
2 day
down.
notice.
He's like, hey, pack your shit. We're
2 day notice.
Now he's no.
I told my wife last
response to
night
me?
at 9:45 that I was leaving at 3:45 to go to friggin'
In defense,
New Hampshire.
I told him about this trip 3 months ago because we're meeting some other guys up here and sharing camp. And he decided not to tell his wife until 2 days ago, leaving Friday.
wow.
No.
So that ain't on
Seems
me.
like a reckless decision.
Now he's claiming selective hearing.
Are you an employee of the Untamed, or are you an owner of the Untamed with Josh?
Mm,
He's,
I'm
well,
just a-
we can figure that out.
All right.
He's not an employee. I don't.
No.
I hate referring
I know,
to
and
anybody as
it's
employees.
fine,
It's
fine.
just like Cole.
I mean, Cole is a.
He is an employee, but I hate saying
Yeah,
Cole
yeah.
works for us.
I gotcha.
Right.
But
But he does.
But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
all work together.
Absolutely.
You know,
I get it.
You don't.
But you don't. Besides Cole, is there anyone else full time at the Untamed?
No.
He's the only full time.
We're all full time.
Well, yeah.
And you mentioned
Yeah,
somebody
but-
else, Jay?
Jay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So there's 4 of you guys at it
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to pin you as an employee. I'm just trying to understand
No,
the
no,
dynamic.
you're good,
and I was
man.
going to say, basically,
Yeah.
when a boss says go, yeah, we got time to get
No, it's
buckle up and go.
it's
no, I could definitely say no.
yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I could definitely
okay.
say no.
Hopefully your wife doesn't listen to this.
No, I mean that's the thing about it. I mean, all of us know what type of commitment it is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is and I did. Well, we had this conversation on the way up here because Cole messaged me. He actually picked me up. We drove to Josh's this morning, and he messaged me last night, and I was busy. It was like 9 o'clock or something. I hadn't got back to him. Then I seen where he messaged me again at like 10:30 or 10:45. I still didn't get back to him. He messaged Josh. He was like, "Hey, he's not answering me." And Cole was like, "I thought he was ghosting me. I thought he was bailing out on the trip." And I said, "Well, I was a game time decision. Y'all just didn't know that."
Yep.
I told him, I said, text him, tell him what time you're gonna be at his house. If he don't walk out the door when you come,
Break it
You
down.
leave.
Bust it down.
yeah,
3:45. I liked his
we're-
message.
we're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to the Northeast.
Man, I'll tell you, I think that, a lot of people listen to it, get it because they're hunting during these seasons and stuff. But we talk about it all the time. It's such a short time frame. Like you think about turkey season, you think about deer season or whatever. Like the reality is there is a very, very finite amount of days that are like good days to go and get it done. Right. And it's like, Jared and I talk about all the time. We'll be sitting here and we're like, oh man, it's whatever. It's first week of October. We got 7 weeks to get. The next thing you know, we're like, holy shit, it's December.
Yeah.
You know? And if you didn't go after it hard, there's no going back. It's over. Game over.
Or you take, just like deer season, if you have X amount of weeks to hunt, and then you factor in weather and washout days or whatever, and then family days and this and that. Before you know it, you're just like you said, your days are down to 1, 2, 3, 4.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then out of them opportunities, how many days does the deer move?
Yeah.
Dude,
So-
you'll appreciate this. So Corey and I were talking timing and stuff last year. So did you guys see Corey earlier? He's I
No.
mentioned caught this
Long
with
hair.
ripped
Looks
it
like
up.
he's from California, but he lives in
Yeah.
Nashville type
Yeah.
of guy.
Yeah, really interesting dude. He's like my older brother. He actually interned with. It's a long story. I'll spare you, but he and I have become really good friends over the years, and he's been hunting with me and my family on our farm, increasingly like over. We've known each other for 15 years, something like that. And he's kind of caught the bug. I've used to give him all my old bows and my stuff. We hunted together quite a bit. And so, I'll sacrifice 2 weeks per season to sit with him. Right. And really, cause he didn't grow up doing it. He has no, woodsman instinct from childhood, like some of us did with our uncles and dads and stuff like that. So I've really invested into him. And last season he took a new job like last year, 2 years ago, and he's got a little bit of increased flexibility. He's working remotely, and so he's taking advantage of that.
And his in-laws are from Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
so
just
he
by
can come
chance,
up.
married some girl, not some girl, he married Carrie, years back, and she just happens to be from right here in town, which couldn't have worked out any better. So he's now here, and they live in Nashville full time, and he's from like Florida originally. So like how those paths all came together, I have no idea, but. So anyways, he's taking advantage of that flexibility to be, and he's starting to read the weather a little bit, and he's starting to know the time of year and stuff. And that's exciting for me because it's like, typically I'm the one that's like, dude, these are the days you want to be here. Here's how we want to plan for this trip. And it used to be like fly up here now. And so he killed a really good buck at our place last year, and he did it by himself.
Yeah.
Literally,
we weren't even around.
We were in Illinois. I just killed a buck in Illinois. We were coming back with the dads from that. And he's texting me like, hey, weather looks right. I think I want to go sit this stand. I'm like, yeah, you do. And he went out and killed this buck, and it was just like a huge win.
Yeah.
We got back just in time to go recover it together and stuff. I got in trouble because I was supposed to be home by then.
You'll have
He
that.
caught-
shit.
I had already been out. Hey, sweet,
All of it.
I'll be home by noon. And then, he shoots the buck that morning. So of course I get home at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Not great, but so anyways, to this year, I was just with him last night, spending some time with him, and he's like, so dude, here's what I'm thinking, like, because he's understanding how important the flexibility is. He's like, there's a wedding like towards the end of September, like the 21st or something. He's like, I'm thinking maybe we just fly up for that, and maybe we just kind of stay here through like mid-November. and he's like, what do you think that works? Like, can we just be flexible and go whenever? I'm like, that's how you freaking kill him.
That's how you kill
That's
him.
how you do it.
Oh no, that's how you kill him.
Yeah, he's figuring it out then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and that's what we've done too. I mean, it's like, it's not like we're hunting 180 deers a year or whatever it is. The Hunter Podcast is brought to you by Hoyt.
What can we say, man? Another year back with Hoyt. We're both shooting RX8s. I'm shooting 70 pounds in the bourbon, which I love bourbon.
That's great.
And you're shooting 80 pounds in the straight black.
Blacked out as always, man. I got so I'm shooting the 500 grain Easton Arrow this year. And at 80 pounds, I'm flinging that thing at like 300 feet per second. I mean, it's deadly. Put a water buffalo in front of me and he's done.
I mean, we shot it earlier. You literally put an arrow through a brand new target, like never been shot before.
I know. So one other thing that Hoyt is doing this year is they're making all their own strings in-house. And so the quality is top notch, and it just really is something that is setting them apart from their competitors.
Well, what we always try to do when we go to our bow shop, Ultimate Outdoors, is we try to shoot other bows just to make sure that we are really giving everybody a fair chance.
Sure.
The reality is it's a no-brainer. Hoyt stands above all of them every single time.
Definitely. And so right now you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for 20% off any apparel on the Hoyt website. And as always,
get serious, get Hoyt. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, obviously you guys having your full work schedules and then doing this, like, let's say like during a normal deer season, like how many days do you think you hunt?
Too many.
Really?
Yeah.
Just make it happen.
I'm just about in the woods every day.
Wow.
yeah.
It's a grind.
And is that because of business seasonality?
No, just
So, a little bit. It is. I mean,
our
like,
businesses slow down that time of year.
They
Yes.
do. So that gives you a little flexibility, and then you just make it the priority.
What are your businesses?
So I do mining.
Okay.
I'm a coal mining contractor. So
Okay.
I do
And I do.
excavation.
And so you're running your own business in the coal industry.
Yeah.
You're
Construction.
contractor. Okay.
I do the same thing, but more so residential.
Okay.
On a smaller scale, but more so residential, do dirt work, excavation work. And
Cool. Just like Johnny Stewart, huh? You guys know Johnny?
Freaking
Oh, yeah.
excavators,
Johnny.
man. You guys got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Make the money when the sun's shining, and then when it's time to hunt,
I
it's time
got
to
to
hunt.
figure it out, don't I?
Oh, yeah, we all do.
We work for the coal industry.
Yeah, the man.
It's rough.
Yeah. Johnny is
Well, you know what? I feel like if you asked me, I wouldn't know the number, I guess. But if we're just talking
it's
here,
not as many as you would think.
but it's not as many literally days in the field. But during the season, I'm hunting every single day.
Oh, for sure.
Here's the deal with me, and it's a little different with
Yeah.
him. When I go in the woods, like when I'm hunting, Josh has got his eyes and ears open because he knows that there's a good chance that I'm going to kill something. I'm going to shoot something that I'm after.
That's
When
my style.
So,
Yeah.
but I'm in the woods. I call it hunting still.
You're just scout.
I might not have
move.
my bow.
Yeah.
That's hunting.
Yeah.
But I'm still out there. I'm
Definitely.
grinding. I'm walking. I'm putting cameras out. I'm
Yep.
moving stuff.
Yep.
Like, and I've got some other buddies that it just turns their gears because they're like, "You need to be in a tree.
Yeah.
Just get in a tree." And
The
I'm
more
like,
days in the tree, the more chance you got type of thing.
yeah, see,
I'm a one sit and done type of guy.
I've killed more deer, more big bucks, bouncing into an area strategically more so than I have grinding it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Like just laying in that one specific tree.
Are you different than that, Josh?
I'm a grinder.
He's a grinder, but he's also a
But
totally
I'm-
different style.
But I'm not hunting the same way Zach's hunting.
Most of the time, I'm hunting a specific deer
Yeah.
or one or two. You know what I mean?
Does it sound familiar?
I mean, there's a real good chance. I mean, honestly,
him?
I'm gonna give Zach. I mean,
this is
a
very
whole lot
similar
a whole
here.
lot of credit
This is
because
me.
Yeah.
he's killed. I mean, Zach's killed giants. I mean,
Mhm.
you killed 2 booners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, in southern West Virginia. I mean,
Yeah.
and I've killed a lot
Wow.
of big deer, but like most of the time when Zach says, "Hey, I'm going into the tree," like
It's
you
time.
know- well,
Yeah.
you know that there's a
Odds are good.
really good chance
Mm-hmm.
that he's going to kill a deer,
Mm.
or see that deer.
Yeah.
Something's lining up in my
Yeah.
head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's time to go.
And
Yeah.
for me, I've only hunted a specific deer one time in my life. I won't do it again. And
Did you kill it?
No.
Yeah.
I was in where were we at?
Missouri.
Missouri, when it got killed. But
Tends to be how it happens.
In West Virginia, got killed.
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm more of an opportunist in hunting and going out there and just. I like the grind. I like the odds. You know, I like the implied odds. If I'm out there, then I'm creating more opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the hunt that I'm on, and I'm on the ground 80% of the time.
That's one of the
Yeah.
main differences is he's on.
So you're hunting off the ground, like moving, playing
in the
with.
timber, glassing. I mean, I'll glass hours.
So I was going to say, can we break that down a little bit? Because I think for most of our listeners, and they get diversity, like Jared's got very farm, pasture-based ground in Ohio. You know, like we talked about my place in Kentucky, and even Southern Ohio is a lot different, more big timber. Can we, not like in a specific counties or spots, but can we kind of break down like what you guys are hunting and what that looks like a little bit?
If you would too, before you get to that granular level,
Yeah.
like what states are you guys hunting? Like, what does a typical season look like?
For us deer hunting,
Yes.
West Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio.
How many bucks can you kill in your bow-only zoning? Just one.
Just one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And West Virginia just moved to a 2-buck limit.
I
so
saw that drop
so you can-
on a statewide
that's-
basis.
It doesn't matter if you kill them with a rifle.
It didn't
Where?
affect us in the
That's
bow
right.
only
So do you
counties.
guys travel outside of bow only to get a second buck or no?
I do.
I have.
Yeah.
yes.
You have.
I
Okay.
have, and he does. Yes.
Okay.
Is it mainly public permission ground that you guys own?
All the above.
Yep.
Okay.
Opportunist.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
just like I've got no qualms if it's public.
Yeah,
private,
yeah.
Permission.
We don't care.
I mean, there's
I'm just
not a
curious.
lot of public down in that bow hunting only, is there?
No.
No.
It's
They've gained some
A lot of coal company ground we talked about.
That's right.
A lot of that.
Probably fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ice.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Cold.
Okay.
Terrible.
I'm
So,
just kidding.
so you guys are Southern Kentucky. Forgive me, West Virginia. Western Kentucky, I thought I heard you mention.
Yeah, Western,
For the early season.
Central.
And then Southern Ohio for the most part.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys on
Southeast. Yeah.
Southeast Ohio?
Yeah, and Southern.
So I'm in Meigs County.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that'd
yeah.
be Southeast.
So you guys like hiking hills then?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I
that's
don't
where,
know if we-
I don't know if we like it, but that's what, I mean,
That's
what
what you grew up with, right?
That's what we know.
I will tell you this. The deer we've killed in southern West Virginia and in Kentucky and Ohio, we've all been in it's timber, big mountains, that type of terrain, the reclamation terrain. And we've hunted in Missouri and Indiana since starting.
And more farm ground based stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
ag. And we've struggled more in those states than we ever thought we would have. It's
Interesting.
just like you're lost. And then, we moved in Indiana. Zach and I hunted the whole week, and then we had our best day when I finally said, hey, I'm going to hunt on the ground out here. And we back closed the deal on a 140-inch 8-point, was on him for 2.5 hours.
Long time, yeah.
Yeah. And I had more success hunting on the ground. I shouldn't have went away with how we hunt in West Virginia when we go to these places.
Yeah.
Because I think you can hunt on the ground anywhere. But it's just different, man. And we struggle in those other states that like a totally different terrain, different food sources, different.
It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I described it to Jeremy yesterday, the analogy we use is I feel like, farm ground, farm country, ag country, which is what I have, like in eastern central Ohio. That's where my family farm's at. Jeremy and I bought a farm in west central Illinois. That's what that is. But Jeremy's got some bigger timber stuff in Kentucky. He's eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, it was foreign to me to go to Illinois and be like looking at this ag ground.
To me, the ag ground is like, whether it's fly fishing or, subsurface, whatever. But it's basically like fly fishing, small pockets. Because it's like the access is super important. You know where the deer are, right?
They don't have a choice.
Here's the brushy pocket. Here's how, and here's the fingers between them, right? It's like fishing pockets. It's really low impact, low key. Whereas I feel like, big timber stuff, granted there is that because not all the timber has deer in it. I understand that. But it's more like fishing a lake. It's kind of just, it's a bigger area,
Gotcha.
And you're going to go to the spot where the deer, where's it drop off on the ledge or whatever. That's my analogy.
Yeah, or where the structure is or
where's
something
the structure
like
at,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it.
It's hard, man, because last year when we bought this farm in Illinois, I'm looking at this thing and I was like, I have no idea how to hunt this thing. Like there's no woods.
Which is hilarious to me because I'm so comfortable in that environment. That's
There's
where
just
I want to be.
wood. Like I'm, because I'm kind of like you guys. If I'm not hunting, I am hunting, but I'm on the ground. I'm moving. I'm scouting. Maybe I do have my bow with me just in case I run into that scenario. I've killed several deer off the ground, but like I'm just always kind of going and reading sign and doing that. And like there, it's like, well, no, you just park here, access, and they're going to use that edge. And it's like, where are they bedding? All of them are in this 10-acre block. All of them? Like there's nowhere else for them to be. They're all in that 10 and they are. Like I rattled 4 or 5 bucks out of this 10-acre block before I rattled the one I shot last year.
And your guys' background makes me feel like maybe you just didn't have the right person with you or whatever. But like if you can kill deer in big timber, you can kill them in farm country.
We overanalyze this.
It is.
It's 100% what we do is because if we look at a big piece of timber, I'm studying maps, I'm studying topos, I'm thinking about wind, I'm thinking where they're bedding, where are they going. So I have that same mindset when I look at an ag layout. The reality is I don't need any of that. I literally just need to know where are they going, and access it and be in the right spot with the wind, and they're going to come through. And if they're not going to come through, they're just not coming through that day. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And so I think we just overthink it because of, you can't do that in a big piece. You can't just be like, all right, I'm just going to access, I'm going to sit right. That does nothing. And 10,000 acres of timber,
And access is huge too when you get into the mountains,
Yeah.
Just because sometimes, like in the ag country, your biggest thing would be your field's flooded or you know, something like that you can't access. But sometimes in the mountains, you know that, hey, I can't access this from this certain way.
Yep.
But there's no other way.
There's no other way
you know,
in it.
You can't go around, and you know that makes it tough. And then obviously the wind.
Yep. Oh, just being reflecting off all that topography.
You get on your phone. You're hunting Illinois. You get on your phone, and it says northeast wind. Guess what you're gonna have?
Northeast.
You're gonna have a northeast wind. Yeah. It ain't changing.
Yeah,
well,
straight
dude,
across.
That's a huge advantage to the Midwest in general. Like most of it is
access and all. You know?
Yeah.
Well, just from a landscape level, it's flatter than out here, and so like you said, the predominant wind is the predominant wind, and that's likely what it is. There's going to be micro terrain features, but like in the hill country, you know, frankly, thermals are probably more
you have
of a
more
factor.
of an advantage in hill country with thermals for sure than you would in that flat area.
Well,
during hunting hours.
During hunting
you
hours,
can use it to your advantage, but there's more to consider for sure.
Oh,
like, dude, you go to Kansas, it's like the wind is the wind, and they don't have. There's less opportunity for them to beat you at it, you know, by using thermals, by using terrain features where it's swirling and stuff. Like even my farm in Ohio, it's like even though it is farm country, there's a lot of terrain, and it makes it really difficult to hunt because every staging area is in a lowland, and so the high spots are either bedding or food, whether it's a food plot or, you know, there's some big ag and stuff out there. So every time they get up, it's coming off a high spot. They go to a low spot and the wind's swirling like crazy, and they just stay down there and smell everything in a quarter-mile radius.
I think that's the big thing for ag that I had the hardest time trying to grasp was I'm used to hill country, mountains, deer bedding up high, working down low, you know, with those thermals either in their favor and stuff. And you get into ag and it's like it's all flat and low. Like there is no real feature where they're going to be bedded on this point or on this ridge or anything. It doesn't
Pinch
exist.
Points. There's you know, we're used to
saddles, whatever.
We're used to pinches.
Yeah.
Something that makes that deer or that animal go through this low gap or, you know, around the side of this hill. We learned that, and I realized it in Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking for like heavily used deer pass. You know, because in the mountains, when they're side hilling, they're leaving
it's
pass.
a mountain goat trail.
Yeah, literally. And you go to Western Kentucky, and I was like, there's not trails. You know, they're just kind of meandering because it's, you know, it's just a little rolling hill, and they can just work wherever they want to. Back home, they're kind of pinched down to a certain logging road or, you know, whatever. So I think that helps in that aspect, but it just changes the way you got to approach things.
Yeah.
I think it's replaced in the Midwest or more farm country by edge, man-made edge in a lot of ways. So instead of, I think terrain features are still obviously super important anywhere you go. But in hill country, that's all you have. You have terrain features, basically. That's and you're operating almost solely off of that. Whereas in farm country, a lot of that, there's not as much of it, frankly. You know, there's some here and there, but a lot more of it is man-made edge, whether it's farming edge or it's a hedgerow or something like that.
It's like when Jeremy was saying that if there's a 10-acre woodlot here, the deer are all right here, and you got to figure out how you're going to get in and they're going to come through here.
Yeah.
Like where we
It's foreign, man.
like it's so vast, and I mean
it's delicate.
You might see a buck that you want to shoot this morning, and Zach might be 2 mile away, 3 mile away the next day in some other timber, and he see that same buck.
That's where
they don't stay.
Like,
they don't have. You know, I listen to people and they talk about, man, this 10 point's using this bed. He's living right here. Shit. I ain't never seen it. I never seen him. I mean, maybe a buck comes back every few days, but I've never seen a buck just lay in a bed down in southern West Virginia day in, day out.
Well, and that's where Jared and I go back and forth a lot.
You're absolutely right.
It's just too vast. I mean, they're just like us, in my opinion. That's how I think of them. If they're walking and they're hungry and they need water, and then they get tired, they're going to lay down right there because it's good bedding.
Yep.
They don't have to be in their bed.
No. Mm-hmm. But in that ag country, it's limited beds.
Because that's the only cover they have.
That's it. That's all they got.
That's the problem.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Is that's the only cover they got. They can't just lay down out there in the field or beside a water hole or whatever they got. But when you're hunting timber, same thing here. I mean, there's big timber here.
Yep.
They're not just going to lay in the same spot every time. They're going to lay down where they get tired.
Yep.
Sure.
As long as it's good
That's
cover and the wind's in their
That's right.
favor and thermals
If
are playing
the
to them.
thermals
They don't
good
care.
for them,
And that's
well,
easily found
Yeah.
in hill country. You know what I mean? Like you said, that one thicket over there, that's where you know your deer's at. They're in there 100%. You get into these mountains and that can be anywhere.
You can whittle it down for
can.
the area you're in, and that's
Sure.
what we do. But like, it's just so big and vast.
And
It's like,
time spent
Yeah.
helps whittle that down
Yeah.
more than studying
the only difference
map,
between
you know?
Zach and like Zach whittles, he's on the ground just like you said.
Mhm.
You know, he might be out there, and he doesn't carry a bow during the season if he's out scouting.
Yeah.
It's
and
bit
looking
me in the
around.
ass a time or two.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but me, if I like me learning, I'm ground hunting,
Yep.
and I'm covering ground.
Yep.
Interns hate hunting with me.
Oh yeah, they're just putting on miles, man, burning boot leather. Yeah.
Now, what are we doing here?
But man, that's to be honest, I feel like it's such a rarity anymore in this space, right? Like the way that hunting has turned to, it's like, and I mean we do it too, but like it's, food plot, box blind,
Cell phone
access.
cameras.
Yeah. I mean it, growing up, it was like the only way I knew what that land looked like or what that sign looked like is I burn boot leather every day. Hell, I carry a shotgun and grouse hunt most of the time when I was scouting for deer.
Yeah,
That's just how it was.
we use
growing
trip
up.
timers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you probably don't.
I know what they are.
Yeah,
I never used one, but
We used them all the time.
Yeah.
We would get apple. They had a apple cider factory there across the river, in right below Meigs County.
Yeah,
there,
yep.
Ravenswood.
Oh yeah, Ravenswood. Mhm.
And they had we'd go over there and fill 5 gallon. But they have a belt line of
Just
apple
all the
peels.
yeah.
cores. We'd go there
Mhm.
and fill 5 gallon buckets up and put them out and put trip timers
Yep. Just a
around it just to see when something was coming in. Just look at
Didn't
it.
know if it was a damn
Didn't know
goose
if it was
or a
a-
deer.
Yeah, no
didn't
idea.
know- you didn't know
Something
nothing.
came. I don't know.
Yeah.
Homeless guy.
Yeah.
Hungry
Take it,
guy,
take it.
Yeah, you don't know. So it's come a long way.
Yeah. But it's changed. I mean, I'll say I felt like I still feel good when I'm in the woods, but man, there was a time there when that kind of stuff was aside that I felt you drop me in any woods and I felt like I could get on deer just because of I had to walk, I had to learn the woods, I had to learn the terrain, I had to read sign, and the reality is for a lot of places, even in big timber, I mean, hell, in the bait states and stuff in big timber, like in Kentucky, I can go out and dump 200 pounds of corn, put a cell camera over it in the middle of 1,000 acres of timber, and guess what? Deer are going to come to it.
You're gonna get big bucks.
They're going to be on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now they're there. Now I play the conditions. I figure out where I think they're coming from. I get in there. Good chance I see them.
Yeah.
in West Virginia, can you bait in West Virginia?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a primary strategy for you guys or for most people? How's that work?
We have used bait to survey. It's legal. I think
Locate.
I think that there are a lot. I mean, we got buddies that say, if you ain't corning, you ain't killing.
Yeah. That's
if you ain't
everywhere.
baiting, you're waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a strategy, and it's the same with any state. I think that if you dump something out, they're gonna come
Right.
and check it out.
Well, I mean,
especially
for
if
you,
got the
I'm not just
does.
asking for you guys, and we don't care. I'm just telling you.
Oh no, we don't care either.
Is that an effective strategy? I mean, are you guys?
Oh yeah.
And those big woods. I mean, I would
Yeah,
assume like last year, at least, not speaking for you guys, like where I was at in Southeast Ohio and Eastern Kentucky, that acorn crop was bumping and my baiting activity was slow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, just like you said there, you can go out anywhere in the big woods and throw out 200-pound of corn and deer's going to come. I don't like that strategy myself, just because and he does it too. Like we do a lot more scouting, finding where the deer naturally are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I might go out and I might put out 20 pounds of corn and a trophy rock or
Just to try to get a picture of them.
Yeah. And
Yes.
yeah.
But you got to be in that area.
But I'm in that core area.
Yeah.
And then I might bounce from there.
Mhm.
I might go 100 yards one direction or another to try to narrow in on like a direction that a deer's coming that I'm looking at. Maybe trying to kill or something. But there is a lot of people out there that has that mindset of I'm just going to this point because it's pretty.
Sure.
Or this gap.
and it's going to work.
And
it's going to work.
If
like
you had
said.
the time to
Well,
sit
there are spots.
Oh no, it's going to work,
Mhm.
and it's going to definitely work from like November 2nd to the 20th.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you go to this spot and randomly just pile her in there,
Yep.
and you got 7 or 8 does
Mm-hmm.
that are living there.
You're gonna kill a 3-year-old or something or 4-year-old. He's gonna show
There's
up.
going to be at some point. There's going to be a shooter buck
Mm-hmm.
come and check those does.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to have. There's a lot of guys that have the patience to sit there and do that.
Yeah.
There is an art to it too, to baiting. Frankly.
Oh no! I mean,
There are spots, and I know where they're at on our farm. It's a weird, like, mental thing, because it's like I know if there's a buck there in the area, and I you know, if
You can put corn right here, and he's going to be there.
I can kill him. Not only is he going to be there, it's a baitable spot. I can kill him here. The terrain feature is such that I know he's going to come from this way. He can't get down. It's kind of like when you're considering like a spot where you would rattle or something. You want to be cognizant of how can he respond? How can he? Because he knows the thing is there. You've given him a point of interest that he's got to now try to get downwind of. As opposed to like natural movement where it's just like they can't be downwind of all things at all time, right?
Sure.
And so you have an advantage there.
Yeah.
But if you put something there, whether you rattle, you call, you put a bait pile, he now has a point of focus to try to take an advantage, a better stance on. There are spots that you can beat them, and I know where they are on our farm, and it's just like I kind of try to refrain because I'm like, well, I don't want that experience. We're just while we're on the baiting thing here, like I think Jeremy and I are pretty much exactly the same page on this. Ethically, could care less. I don't think I've shot deer over corn. I think that's not I don't have any ethical qualms with shooting. It is what it is. A dead deer is a dead deer, basically. I do think from a landscape, from a hunter behavior stance, we are against it, at least in the state of Ohio. And maybe even I would dial that into certain parts, like where I'm at in Ohio. I wouldn't necessarily apply that mindset to like Kansas or, even Kentucky or West Virginia. They're their own states, and those are more vast.
Well, I think it's also in relation to like the hunter density side of things.
Definitely.
Depending on where you're at in certain places, and deer density also in proportion to that.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I don't, most people when they hear us say like, well, I'm against baiting, they're like, they feel like your buddy, so if you ain't baiting, you're waiting. It's this or it's that. Don't tell me how to hunt. And that's not our stance.
Has it always been legal in West Virginia?
Mm-mm.
I'm not sure. It has been since I've been hunting.
Yeah.
You can bait deer. You can't bait anything else.
Yeah.
But you can't, like, on public, you can't bait anything.
Can't bait anything.
Sure.
on
Can't
public.
in Ohio either.
And no baiting of bears.
No
And-
baiting bears,
no
hawk, wild boar.
Well, and that's the
boar.
crossover that kind of gets, you think about the fall and stuff. It's like, if you're baiting for deer, like there's going to be a big black bear sitting on my corn pile.
Well, frankly, that's dumb too. If you
shoveling.
can bait for deer, you should be able to bait for bears.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same in Kentucky, and we've got really weird bear hunting regs in the eastern part of the state in
Y'all
terms
got
of
weird bear hunting rigs everywhere in the state.
Yeah, just of how you can and when the season stops and stuff. But like, I mean, I have 3 or 4 bears every year on my property, but usually I'm running some sort of feeder, and so technically I can't shoot them if I see them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Which is silly. It is.
Yeah, it's silly.
It's silly.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can sit there and throw corn out, and you'll get a buck. And this is my experience with it, and this is when it could be an art form or when it can't be. But like, if you're getting a buck and he's coming in at 2 or 3 in the morning every couple of days, well, you ain't near that deer. You're near
your
him,
corn
but-
pile's in the wrong spot.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah, yep.
You know, when you get in and you're in early season or late season and you got a buck that's daylighting,
There you go.
you're in
to,
his
to,
bedroom.
to the guys that say the big bucks won't come into a corn pile, I've got
that's bullshit.
hundreds of pictures that will prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I guarantee
We
that
got
they will.
thousands.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe not every day.
Well, that early
But-
and late season is when I think you can kill a big buck on a corn pile. That middle part of the year you can, but I don't think it's nearly as easy as late season especially. I mean, you put a giant corn pile in the middle near a bedding area and that deer's still alive in December, you can kill that deer in an evening pretty easily.
It's because of their priority. Like they're, into the latter part of October, first part of November, they're not as interested in food as they are any other time of the year.
Well, and there's other food, like especially the mass crop. I mean, if it's a big acorn year,
they're going to hit some while they're rocking.
They're
scrape
rolling
line or
on them
something.
on their hooves essentially through the woods.
You get to mid-November where some of the last few does are in heat, and they will come to those corn piles. The bucks will be right on their butts,
Yeah,
and they'll be there.
And that goes back to like what I was saying with some people go out to a specific point or
Yep.
a low gap, and that's most of the time that's the guys that'll say, I got him. He's nocturnal. He's
nocturnal. Yeah.
No, he's more than likely he's not nocturnal.
He's moving at
not a
some
raccoon.
point. Yeah.
I don't believe
You're in the
that.
wrong spot.
I can tell you right now that
gotta move.
I think bucks move every day,
Every
in
single
daylight,
day. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
every day.
Every day.
Unless it's just shitty and they just say,
You're in the wrong spot.
I'm going to lay down today and rest.
No, no.
They're still going to move in daylight.
I would make this argument. Never once has there been a mature buck that has not gotten up and moved at least a small distance
10 yards.
in daylight.
Yeah.
We
I
actually
spot
got
it.
one.
You're in the wrong spot.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've glassed areas and been looking, nothing in the area. Then all of a sudden, bam, there's a shooter. Where the hell did he come from? He didn't come from anywhere. He was right there.
Right there.
And he's getting up, he's stretching, he browses a little bit, then he lays back down.
Mm-hmm.
But he's moving.
But he's moved.
Mhm. They are always winds
Deer being
changing,
nocturnal.
shade.
I think a deer will go nocturnal, but like that deer's not nocturnal.
He's not staying in that
Like,
bed until
yeah.
darkness, and then he's coming back
These
before
bucks are
the
moving
sun
during the
happening.
daylight.
not a
You just
coon.
think you
Not
ain't
a
there.
coon, yeah.
Right. You ain't in the right place.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You know that.
And it seems like they only move it because you're monitoring cameras and you never
That's
see
Well,
it.
right.
that's that was to say that's
And
the
it's like, well, yeah,
foreign
because his
thing.
home range is, quarter mile that way, and you happen to have a food source or some does that he's coming to check.
Yep.
So
That's right.
he's only here at night, and you're all over the property all the time. You got pressure on it and stuff. But yeah, they're moving somewhere.
That's right.
And that's the danger to knowing that. It's like, okay, if I'm getting this buck, hitting the scrape on a logging road at whatever, let's say 8:30 p.m. every night. It's like, okay, I'm too far, right? But he's definitely getting up at dusk and he's moving in shooting hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, how far do I push before I get too far?
Well, you gotta be on his nuts.
And then that's when the access comes.
Absolutely.
into
Yeah, you can't just
full
march
effect.
right through it.
Right.
Yeah.
And there
Well,
might be a terrain feature or something that's allowing you to get to this point, but you can't go no further. Then what the hell do you do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I killed a buck in North Dakota last year that I think was a really good example of like pushing the limit
Mm-hmm.
and making an educated guess about where a buck is bedding and stuff. It's big deer. I mean, he's like, and they don't get as big out there, right, as a Midwestern buck. But it's a mainframe 7x6, 160-inch buck out. I mean, a freaking stud.
Yeah. River bottom, public land.
River bottom, Western North Dakota buck. And I mean, there's moose there. Moose. I think there's some wolves there and stuff. I mean, it's wilderness country.
Yeah.
But there's you get out into the bluffs and stuff. There's muleys and stuff out there too. And last day of this hunt, we go in and we're actually getting a shirt made of the hoof print with my finger on it here and stuff. We found this hoof print. Basically, what it was we pulled into the back corner of the ag. Okay, and so like apply this to a Midwestern scenario, somewhere you guys
Early
have hunted.
season.
You're like, okay, here they are, and there's this big scrape right on this like little farm road that goes to this big ag, and we're like, okay, clearly they're coming out of this block of timber here, and they're going to this ag at some point. And I was hunting with a buddy, Lucas Psycho. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a Indian-looking dude from. He used to film with Todd Prignitz from
White Knuckle
Productions. He's an awesome dude. He lives from out there, so he was like putting us on him. And so I'm looking at the scrape. I'm like, dude, make a scrape right here. Like, maybe this is the spot. He's like, well, let's just check this out. So we push back into this woodlot, which, in farm country, you got to be careful because it could be laying right there. He's like, let's check this out. And we go, and there's there's some beds here and there. I didn't see that we actively pushed any deer out, but we get back to a crossing. We're right on the Missouri River, basically. And so we get back to this, it's an offshoot of the Missouri, like a little flood overflow channel that it just has a high point there. And they're clearly crossing into this little island. It's a finger that's between the channel and the Missouri River. Mega track, fresh. And we're like, here he is, And I think most guys, even I had more time and had a whole season to hunt this deer, we might have sat right there. So clearly he's crossing right here, and we're back off of. So you have choices. It's like I could have sat right on a scrape, and
on the ag edge.
On the ag edge and see what you see. Back in there, it's probably 150 yards back to that crossing, 200 yards maybe. Here's another potential spot here. Let's sit on a crossing, and what we ended up doing is we backed out at that point because it's just the island. There's nowhere else to go, and it connects further up to a mainland, but that's the island, and it's, I don't know, 15-acre island, something,
maybe
10-acre island, something like that. So we back out at that point. We're okay. That's as close, I think, right now as we're willing to go. This is the day that I kill him. Basically, it's the last day of the hunt. So this is like 2:10, whatever, noon. Over lunch, we go to scout this area.
Day 7.
So we back out. We go look at this other area just to see what other options do we have here. We have a little bit of back and forth about like, okay, we got 2 good spots here. Who's going to go where? I decided to go at this spot, and Lucas is like, he knows the area. He's more familiar with the territory and how these deer work than I am. Pennsylvania, right? It's my first time hunting North Dakota whitetails. He's like, so here's the deal. If you're going to hunt that deer tonight, he's like, you can't just sit the crossing. He's like, you got to go in for him. And I'm like, okay. Like, what do you mean? How far? What do you mean? How far? He's like, I don't know. He's like, you just got to feel it. I'm like, okay. And so I've been there for a week now. I've seen some deer. It turns out I had seen this deer earlier in the week, 2-3 days prior, from a totally different stand. I saw him full velvet. And I was like, there's a video of me shaking like a leaf. Like I was cold and like, dude, these bucks are coming across this little mud flat and you can hear them like, like it was the craziest thing, and it's like, so when they're coming. So he and I are in a stand together just laughing and like, we know when they're coming. So it's just a blast. And we'd seen them on that hunt go in the direction roughly of this new location where we've seen this track. So I'm between 2, spots now that we've got evidence that he's there that are like a half mile apart. Okay. So that night I go in to the scrape, cross through the woods, get to the crossing, and now I'm into the island, uncharted territory. And I'm like, the whole island might as well be bedding. I've never been in there. I don't know. And I'm just following. Essentially, there's one trail comes out at a very defined point, and it starts dispersing. It starts like, it gets thinner, but here's a big rub, really fresh. There's one of his tracks again. There it was, and I'm piecing it together, and I get back in there.
You're deep.
You're
3/4 of the way in, I bet.
200 yards, 250 yards. Yeah, 3/4 of the way back the peninsula. I'll show you guys the map, and you'll get a better perspective on it. To where I'm like, I don't think I can go any further. And that's how he described it. He's like, till you can't go any further. Like, get in there as far as you can go. And I hit basically a wall of like whatever, a tornado or something had come through, and I'm like, okay, there's a pretty serious visual barrier here. And I picked a tree right in the middle of the island. I could basically shoot the entire width of it. At a max, I'm like 30 yards. And that deer ended up coming out in the last 10 minutes. Yep. Let's say it was, I don't know, last light was maybe 9 o'clock. I think it was maybe that late.
Yeah, it was late.
In theory. It was 8:50. I had pretty much in my mind accepted that's the trip. Hey, we had a lot of fun. We really tried for him. I feel like I was in a great spot here. And then here he come to the tree. Come out of this thicket right in front of last 10 minutes light. He was with a doe. And I'd seen him when I saw him the first time 3 days earlier in full velvet. He was with a doe. They were together for some reason. September 6th, like no breeding or anything. It's just like they were together.
Warm legging.
They were warm legging.
Yeah,
she had a nice leg. I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. She come out first, come right down this trail, and my wind was swirling a little bit, and I seen him coming behind her. I didn't know for a fact it was him. I just saw a wall of tines, mainframe 7x6, clean. And she got to the base of my tree and boogered, just jumped and snorted a few times. And this is where instinct comes in. This is like this deer I saw. I had a tree in front of me. I saw him. He steps this way. He's reacting to her reacting. He hasn't smelled me yet. I bring my bow through the tree gap to full draw, and he steps this. He's made it about 15 yards at this point, and he doesn't know what's going on. He's right there. And he's like 15, 20 yards, and I smoke him right there. Like 10 yards, 10 minutes before last light. And so the point of like why I was telling the story even is like in terms of how close you get to where you think you're betting. Had I been on a scrape
or the trail,
there's no way in hell. Had I been on the crossing, There's no way. Literally, and I had to have been within no more than 100 or 150 yards of that deer to kill him at very last light.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Rack Hub.
Well, dude, sheds are starting to hit the ground.
Yeah, and although we usually don't find many of them, we've done pretty well this season so far.
I would say for just, a handful of walks, we've got a pile of sheds to show for it. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, if shed season would end today, I think it was pretty successful.
So this year we're partnering with Rack Hub. It's an antler mounting system for your sheds.
Yeah, and obviously people have watched our podcast. We've got this massive pile of sheds that are on the table at all times, but you guys took the time to set up Wide Boy Shed on the R1, which is a really cool way to now have that thing right off to my left-hand side during the podcast.
So some of these sheds just call for a little bit more appreciation, I guess. So rather than being on a pile on the table, we're going to mount them on the wall, and they look awesome. So
yeah, and so if anybody wants to try Rack Hub, you can use the code HUNTR10, HUNTR10 at rackhub.com to get 10% off your order.
Use Rack Hub to make the most of your shed season.
Yeah. Those are the hunts that we talk about too, where it's like obviously worked out. Had it not, like how many more times could you get away with doing that same thing before he's like, hell no, I'm not doing this again? Because
yeah, it was an aggressive hunt. That was the one time.
When you leave, he comes through there and he knows you've been there. So it's like, man, those are the ones, and that's kind of my theory when I'm hunting. Like I may hunt or just scout for 3 weeks, right? And then
hammer.
3 weeks later, I sit down and go after that deer.
On there too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Huh? He had some velvet on there too, didn't he?
A little bit. Yeah.
That's why I like hunting on the ground.
Yeah.
Because that's how you kill them on the ground. Is you get in.
So what's the thought there? Because I personally feel like there's no way I would have killed that deer from the ground.
You don't know.
That doe would have freaked out.
A lot of situations I get in.
I mean, when you?
I say, man, there ain't no chance of me killing something in here.
I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
When you hunt off the ground, are you hunting like more still hunting, like I'm almost gun hunting, or are you just literally going in and being on the ground, and then if wind changes or something you don't feel right, then you're just moving and sitting again?
No, I don't sit unless I'm glassing.
So you're almost in the move all the time. Yeah. So you're still hunting, basically.
Yeah, I caught listening.
Interesting.
I'm just listening. I'm hoping that the deer, most of the time when I'm hunting on the ground, it's on, I got a vantage.
Mm-hmm. And
on a ridge.
You're trying to get like in a strip mine area, autumn olive, like old reclaims.
So I'm glassing there.
Yep.
So that's when we actually spot and stalk.
Yep.
Is if we're on,
because that's what Bo did, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're on reclaimed land, and reclaim being semi, open country, kind of like the Midwest.
Yep.
Just some rolling hills, because they've taken the mountaintops off.
Straight off. Yep.
And so you got all this flat up on top.
Mm-hmm.
Great vegetation, great cover, autumn olivey, a lot of CRP.
I love it, man. It's like the mountain CRP is what I always related
exactly
to.
What it is.
And we'll sit there and we have vantage points to where we can see the most.
Mm-hmm.
That our wind is good, and we'll sit there and glass, and that's spot and stalk them.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically mule deer hunting at that point. And that's how I mule deer hunt.
One thing that we like. If the deer beds down, hey man, great, because that gives us better odds right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, we're going after deer moving, and we're just playing ambush with them.
Wow, so you're literally trying to he's moving. Wind, I'm gonna head him off.
Hey, he's gonna go. You're looking at your mapping, and you're saying, hey, I think this deer, he's going here.
That's wild.
And then you're going there.
Dang.
And then if you bump the deer, it's
Yep.
like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
That deer is only going to run until he feels safe. He's not running to the next county. You're going to be able to get on that deer maybe that afternoon. Maybe you know where he's going to take off, and you look again and go, I think that deer is going to escape over here. So you take off, and you go over here. You might get right back on that deer.
Jeez.
I mean, that was it 3 years ago? I stayed on that deer for like 6 or 7 hours and killed him.
Yeah,
and
sounds like mule deer hunting.
And he moved. He moved on me, and I just kept on chasing him. And
Josh needs some
kept
before I do.
Kept on getting aggressive with him, and that's what's fun. And then if we're still hunting in the woods, and Zach just started, typically Zach goes into kill, but now he got into spotting and stalking this year and hunting on the ground.
You guys would love North Dakota.
You killed a giant whitetail. You stalked him this past year, right?
No, I ate tag soup this year.
Was it the year? I've seen.
But I had a good run from 16 till last year.
What am I thinking of? I remember a video of you scooching in your butt. He was down in a bottom. It was in a timber. Thanks.
Which one did I kill? I killed a couple in the timber. I don't know. 80% of the deer I've killed have been on the ground.
On the ground.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, how about time of year? Like rut?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
No, I mean, I like getting out in those open areas in November because the deer are coming up out of the timber and getting in there with them does.
Are you calling at them on the ground?
So, like you were talking about rattling a little while ago.
Yeah.
Like, it just don't work.
Really?
Yeah, they're not responsive. Like I have more luck with snort wheeze.
Yep.
Than anything.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
On the ground, you can see a buck, and he's going the opposite direction. He's in the mood, and you snort wheeze, that son of a gun, he'll turn and come right at you.
I think some of that is linked probably, and I don't know, making assumptions in your area, relating it to like Kentucky and even Southeast Ohio a little bit is density. Like where there's lower deer densities, you just don't have as many fights and things like out in the Midwest.
They don't have to.
They're $4, groups fighting at the same damn time, but out there
there's only 2 does standing there.
That's exact.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's just not as much. Now that eyesight snorting wheeze like a rocket.
Yeah, I mean, now we've heard and videoed some good fighting the last couple of years. That we've not. You don't typically see in Southern West Virginia. Like, I can go to Ohio, and they're like super responsive to rattling.
Higher deer density.
I mean, super responsive. But like, I quit packing a set of horns because I would try it and try it and try it.
And nothing. Especially being on the ground, I would be like, man.
And it's just great for cover noise.
Sure.
Just to give deer, even if they don't come in and you rattle, it's great just for them to think that might be a deer over there if you're moving.
If they heard you.
That's right.
Yep.
If they heard you, I just heard.
Good cover.
Heard her horns. Maybe there is a deer over there.
Yeah.
Maybe I can still lay here until he puts his eyes on me.
In terms of like, I don't know what the word is, like they have to come to it. I think we would agree the snort wheeze I think is the most effective. There's something about it that it just trips their trigger. But
it pisses them off. It's just like a
but there's a range limitation. So if I see something out there a half mile,
oh, you're not snort wheezing.
You ain't snort wheezing it. So I'm gonna try the horns. I think that's kind of how we approach it.
Or if you're to me, I'm getting out of the
You're
tree.
moving.
I'm getting out of the tree and I'm going to run. I'm running after him.
Me and him we've had arguments.
We argue about this all the time.
Yeah.
If I see a deer 80 yards out of range, I'm not waiting for that son of a bitch to come to me. I'm going to him. I could care less what it bumps, what it contaminates.
I'm the exact opposite. He's like, hey, I just seen him on such and such point. He went down to the right. I'm like, okay.
I'll wait that son of a bitch out.
He's probably coming, just give him a couple hours. He probably went down there and bedded. He'll be back up through there. No, I'm going after the bastard. I'm like, Jesus.
Have you killed one that you've gotten down out of the tree and gone after? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then I about done it this year.
Yeah.
Yep. We got to read the situation. You got to try to get an understanding of what he's doing, where he's going, and then make a plan. You're not just running after him.
No. It's
strategic sometimes.
Yeah.
Strategic.
I guess I did that on that Kansas public buck, that 180 this year. Remember, he took the does over.
That 12 point out there, that 3-year-old type deal. He killed that off the ground in Kansas.
Yep. Snort wheezing them in.
They don't spook off like people think, in my experience. Unless you just go running at one.
Well, as I say, the movement and wind. Like those are your big.
When I'm ground hunting in the timber, I'm glassing everything I can see, and then I'm listening most of the time, and I'm my hearing is questionable.
What are you hunting a lot of high?
Yeah.
Yep. You're not.
Yeah.
Probably top.
You have to.
I was gonna say that makes sense.
Third.
Yep.
Is we got old prospecting roads.
Yep.
In the mountains and logging roads.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, we got them too.
So I'll hunt the top third.
There you go.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Of the mountain.
That way you hear things coming up onto the ridge.
I can hear coming down. I can hear coming up. I can see down.
You're almost probably right at in some of those military crest points that thermal side is coming through.
And in the mornings I'll hunt one side,
and
in the evenings I'll probably go the other side to keep the thermals at my advantage. I don't really, when we're in that open country, the wind is never, like Zach said, the wind is never the same. I mean, it's going to score. I mean, I think the first deer I killed on video, I shot a real nice 8-point, shot him right in the throat at 14 steps. And you can see that high grass up on top. It's sitting there.
Yeah, just
like it blows this way.
Come right back.
Right at him. Blows this way. You can see it. And that sucker come 14 steps, and I shot him right in the throat.
He didn't like that, I bet.
Oh, no. I did. It was pink mist, baby. Yeah, I did.
In the jugular.
Yeah, man, that's fun. I mean, it's a liberating way to hunt. I personally just don't get to experience it a ton because I think the areas that I hunt are more conducive to my odds are pretty good when I pick a spot.
Right.
But, and you mentioned earlier, like the mule deer hunting, like that's why we love it so much, is we're just picking country apart.
Just aggressive.
Yeah, the whole day. And it's just like you're saying, with whitetails in West Virginia, it's like we're walking, we're walking into an area with, binocs, and we're just like, we're hitting as we're going, and we're still hunting half these drainages that it's badlands, basically. Man, it is fun. It's a fun way to hunt.
It's a little bit of turkey hunting, style in terms of, repositioning on a bird and how they're moving. Obviously, the calling aspect just depends on visibility or not. But, I kind of relate it like that. Like if I'm moving on the ground, and I will rattle, especially in Ohio or Kentucky, but I'll get to a point where I think that deer's going, and I'll blind grunt or I'll blind snort wheeze. I'm almost turkey hunting them, basically.
Hate turkey hunting so much.
I don't
really.
He does.
I really despise it.
I just don't think deer can see as well
from the
as
United States.
I think it's the farm ground, like the guys who grew up in farm country turkey hunting, just different than when I talk about run and gun, it's running mountains and like that bird gobbles over the next you're gone.
Let's roll.
Jared, I think
you have
if you came turkey hunting with us, I think you would enjoy
There's
it.
no way that you leave Southern West Virginia
and say
I
hate turkey hunting.
Yeah, no, I
do, because I'm telling you, because it's
completely different style of turkey hunting.
Yeah, we're not going to go sit in the blind and decoys.
It's just
we're not doing that.
It's the animal itself. Like I just don't give a shit about them. I just don't care.
I like eating them.
Yeah.
Oh, me too. Yeah. But I also like eating cow. Whatever. I'll eat anything. Clearly, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. I just don't like it. It truly kind of pisses me off. Like when I'm out there and I'm just like, I hear them gobbling, I'm like, freaking suckers. Like
no, they'll aggravate you, but that's the love of it.
Is it because you think they're there and it just isn't working out, or?
There's definitely like an element to where I'm like, I'm just not good at it. So it just pisses me off in that sense. But but not enough to where I'm like, I'm going to try harder at it. I'm like, forget this. I'm just on back to what I'm good at, which I think is.
I think my hardest part is like I'm kind of like you in that I program myself to a specific deer in the year, so like I can't do that with a turkey necessarily, really. Right? Like I've got one,
but you're gonna get made fun of.
Well, I've got one behind the house right now. I've got a double beard behind the house with some of the longest eastern spurs I've seen, but there's 5 other 2-year-old type birds back there that I would shoot. And it's like, what am I going to do? Pass them? So it's just the way that my brain's wired. And the challenge of that's where like when we talk about like what deer do you go after, like I'm a one-on-one type of guy. I like focusing on a single deer, and like it, if another good buck comes through that's a shooter, like I'll kill him, but I'm hunting a specific buck. That's just how my brain's wired.
I'm the same way, and he's giving me hell for it. And I've been hunting a specific buck, and I've passed a lot of really good bucks. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Because there's that one.
Because I'm videoing this deer and sending it to him,
Yeah.
Because there's one deer that I'm after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ain't interested. I ain't.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, so what would be like a standard? Like, what would you say in a given season that you're after? Is it as an age class? Is it a score? Is it just the experience?
He might shoot a Mississippi 11 point if it's the right experience.
yeah. Like if I'm torqued up, it's going down.
Yeah.
Like if I'm chasing something and
Well, what gets you torqued up though?
Is the
about
ground
everything.
hunt, the ground hunting of it.
If you're on the ground, I'll shoot at it.
I'm
yeah.
just naturally wound up
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and I'm pretty high wired.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean I get tore up over bucks. I mean, but like on our lease, you know, we got 150-inch minimum.
Okay.
You know,
That's not nothing.
What kind of a lease? Like who's setting the minimum?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. So you're not shooting
I mean,
a
we
Mississippi
did.
11
It's
point
all-
on that.
No, we did it. Yeah, I mean, it was a collective thing,
Where's the
but it
lease?
was.
It's in southern West Virginia.
West Virginia.
So, I mean,
Sorry,
it-
I don't need specifics.
And it's
but West
bow hunting only, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously,
What had happened was you got to set a standard.
and clearly you think you guys can produce that quality of deer. Then.
Yeah,
And
if you don't
just-
think you
it's
can
just
do
the
that,
four
then
of you
that's-
on there?
that's silly.
No.
So we have so many acres and so many members, and there has to be a buffer. If we said, hey, and this happened, you know, we said, hey, you got to be Pope and Young. Well, the first year we had it, and there was, I think there was 12
It would have quickly
12 or-
got dry clean.
Yeah.
Really?
There was 12
Yes.
or 13 bucks killed that year.
Just
And then there was
yeah.
a couple, you know, 140s that were 3.5-year-olds. That
Yeah, it
just
could have
sat
been
there, but
studs.
how many, like roughly how many people are on the lease?
that year there was 23.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's a giant property,
Yes.
right? And there's a bunch of people hunting.
Well,
But you have the control to set the thing on it?
yeah, I mean, collectively.
Right.
But the size of the lease for 23 people was very good. It was still averaging about 700 acres a person.
Okay. So yeah, monster lease.
So then we cut the lease down and enacted the rules because we knew that there was going to be bucks killed that didn't reach the 150.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have what happens is, and I think this would happen on any lease, what happens is if you have a Pope and Young minimum, then they're going to be a couple 110, a couple 115.
Right, because they're going to
killed.
assume they were
Because
close.
You just don't know, you know, in the
Yeah.
heat of the moment, they're running through the woods chasing a doe or something, and you're like, oh, it's a shooter.
Well, and with that,
He's dead.
And with that standard, you're gonna have a bunch of really nice young deer killed.
That's right.
Mhm.
So you set a 150-inch standard, and then you're going to have some flub ups of 135 to 140,
Yeah, which
which
Is what it is.
it is what it is.
mm-hmm.
You know that going in, but when you have that standard, most everybody, it takes I don't care what part of the country you're in, it takes a lot of bone to get to 150.
I mean, I don't know many, if any, places that are setting that kind of a minimum.
When you got a minimum like that, you cut down, like he said, on that. You know what I mean? Like
Well, I think you would
killing
also
that young potential 130-inch deer.
you'd probably change the people that you got on your lease too, because the moment you say you're not killing anything under 150, 90% of the guys are like, I'm out.
I think that year when we said it, there was 4 people that said out.
Yeah, so the guys that you have
it's
are
cool.
like, they're serious. They have to be serious. I mean, nobody's going to walk out and kill a 150-inch
If you
deer.
back off of like the pressure that we put on ourselves to be like, I want to kill a deer this year, 150 is like, I mean, especially on the amount of acres you're talking about. You're talking 20, 30,000 acres. It's pretty doable.
Would you say that's a pretty low deer density where you guys are?
Yeah, it's probably
I would say it's average.
average.
Yeah,
I
average,
wouldn't say
average
low.
for hill country.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say low, but it's one of them areas that you've
But
got
you
that,
take
that
like you would
potential's
think,
there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The potential
Yeah.
for growth there, but you take that country and you would think that there's 1,250s and above on that property.
Mm-hmm.
There's not.
There's not. Yeah, because I mean, that's what people would
How
assume.
many are there on a given year?
Well, it's getting better and better.
Okay.
This will be the third year that the rule has been implied.
Say like 5, 6.
Oh no, there'll be more than that this year probably.
Yeah.
You guys make exceptions for older, lower scoring deer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
if
And
you
you
want
have
to,
to.
like
'Cause that's
we
the-
have,
that's
like
the
we have-
problem.
we have
I'm
a
sure
committee.
you've got some
we
just
have a committee.
ancient deer in there.
Well, we have a committee.
A committee, itty bitty titty.
Yeah, like say you're hunting and you can send us a multitude of game pictures and go, what do y'all think about this? I've had, and then say you back it up and say,
The Board of Commissioners votes on it.
I've had this deer for 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that deer hadn't grown and he's old.
Yeah,
take
kill
him
him.
out. Or take your son up there and take it.
Yeah, take a kid out and kill him.
Kids are automatically.
Well, for example, we shot 3 deer off the Illinois farm that we bought last year. All of them were in the mid-30s. 2 5-year-olds and like a 7-year-old. Yeah, and you got to kill them. You got to make room.
You got to kill them.
The antler minimum is an acknowledgement that your members. No offense, I say it on a state level, kind of jokingly. It's the state's acknowledgement that we're all too dumb to tell how old a deer is.
It's exactly what
so
it
you
is.
so you say, oh, okay, I can pretty much tell how big the antlers are in most cases, and so that's like the rule of thumb. Mm-hmm. But there's got to be a healthy diagnosis to kill them older, low-scoring deer because you want them out.
Yeah,
and they're trophies.
Yeah,
they are.
Our number one rule is just don't be a dick.
Right.
Literally,
that's the number one rule.
That's written into the bylaws.
That's a great rule.
Yeah,
that's a perfect. That is rule number one. Don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick.
And that's hard for some people.
Just like that. I think it takes away from some of them's pride when they message or text one of us and be like, "What do you think about this deer? Do you think he's old?" I think
people don't like to do that.
No, they want to take it upon themselves to determine, that deer's 4 or that deer's 7 or whatever, and they don't want our opinion, so they don't want to ask our opinion, so they want to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
If it's kill that deer, then everybody's like, you shouldn't, you should have killed that deer or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I think it's a pride thing.
It is a bummer. Dude, it's hard on your guys' side of things too to be the guy that's like, you want to like have humility and.
Well, you want to celebrate it too. If God kills a buck and brings it back to camp, you guys all want to be like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
And once it's dead, it's dead. You almost have to take a stance of like, we're happy for you.
That's exactly right.
But while the thing is alive, like you don't want to be like, nope, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. It's it's like, well, I mean, I don't know. It looks like this. Here's why I'm thinking this. What do you think? And it is hard. I mean, I deal with that with my with Dale. I mean, Dale constantly wants to think that deer are old, and I'm like, and I just
easy.
I don't like being in the position where I'm like, he's not. I just feel like I'm a broken record. Like it's a 3-year-old, it's 3-year-old, it's 3-year-old. But it is a reality. And
yeah, but somebody has to do it. If not, then you're just going to kill every 3-year-old. Next thing you will be known as like, it's a 2-year-old, it's a 2-year-old, and you don't want to be going that direction.
If we would have kept our standard where it was at with the people, I mean, we don't have guys that are just getting into hunting on the league. The least members are a bunch of damn
150
killers.
and better, yeah.
Well, they're a bunch of killers. They're all whitetail hunters.
And that goes back to, like you said, you're not going to get your average or below average hunter.
He ain't jumping into that.
He's not. Yeah, when you throw that 150 number, he's
you
like
guys have a fairly high monetary barrier to entry then, right?
Yeah,
if I'm getting into a lease that's 150 and better, it's
I mean, it's a good lease. And then, it is what it is.
Are you guys planting anything?
So I've dabbled.
I say that because I know the ground.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
I've
literally
dabbled
hard
with mountain
rock.
plots.
Yeah, it's shell.
And it was kind of crazy because we planted turnips in this one patch and clover, and the turnips came. It was killer.
Probably plant you a damn nice corn pile.
Yeah,
she's gonna look good.
Dude, I'm telling you,
you better see it from a helicopter.
Yeah, well, this turnip field we had, they hadn't turned to sugars yet. So it was after season, and I think what was it, like the 3rd week of January?
Yeah,
there've been a few deer come through and like bite them. You could see where they were testing them,
nipping them. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, dude, they turned. I guess for the weather, and it was after season.
They eat a whole damn field of them like that.
2 weeks. There were so many deer in this little. It's probably 3/4 of an acre. That I can't imagine them coming in during season.
Yeah,
he picked up sheds out there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it had so many deer, and that's what food does for you there.
Yeah, well, because there is none.
Right.
What's Craig's last name?
Harper.
Didn't Craig Harper come to mind when he said that? Craig, you know who that is? It's
Tennessee.
He's from Tennessee. He's a deer biologist. You see him from like whitetail properties, clips and stuff like that. Really smart guy.
Yeah.
Southern draw on him. He challenged us one time. He's like, where'd you hear that? Where'd you hear that starches turn to sugars? when it frosts. I'm like, and Jeremy and I are looking at each other, we're like, I don't know. Like, I just thought that's what happens. He's like, is there any scientific proof to say that that's what happens? Like, it turns to sugar and it gets more attractive? And he basically put it in our faces to be like,
well, he did like a small project and basically said it doesn't. The starches don't turn to sugars. Like they're always there. It's just
something happens.
The deer, the other food sources become less palatable, and so then that's like the next option in line, basically.
Yeah, that's hard for me to believe.
That's hard for me to believe too. When
based off of how they come in
all
there.
during the fall.
Oh, I agree.
They're coming through and testing them.
Just nipping, and then wintertime they pound them.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, 3 weeks after season,
and they come in like
you know what? I had a conversation yesterday with Skalma.
Yep.
And because I'm a big proponent of, like, if I'm going to break down on a food plot level, I'll say, like, typically I think clover and your cereal grains are really
number one
browse resistant.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll plant a smaller acreage in those things. I won't typically plant something less than an acre in brassicas because they get hit so hard. In our experience, that just seems to be what happens. Like this past year, it happened in September because
of the drought.
Because it was so dry, and them leaves hold so much moisture content, so they're flocking to them.
Typically,
it's like in October, November, that they just get hit. They get hit. Deer get on them. They're browsing on them, and then bigger than that's grains. And Skalma was like, he's like, dude, we don't see that at all. He's like, I've got lots of quarter and
and they don't touch them.
Eighth acre plots and brassicas.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's got a lot of food.
He's in Wisconsin. I mean, he's got food, but I don't know. And he said Duncan does the same thing. He's like, Duncan's got all kind of plots that are
I've planted brassicas at my house, and it's good soil. It's farmland. I've got 100 acres there at my house, and I planted brassicas one year, and they sprouted to about 6 inches. And the deer
mowed them.
That's
how it's been here on the mountain where I'm at.
Man, it gets big, bushy. I keep it 8-10 inches. But brassicas, it's like they don't last. And this is over like
that's what we see
acre
too.
And a half.
Yeah. Mow them.
And they absolutely, like when they get 5-6 inches, they're just
I agree.
And they're
that's
gone.
What I
it's
see
like
too.
it's like
then there's nothing.
I'm not planting right.
I'm a little worried
this
year, frankly, because I'm carving off some areas like the far ends of some of our grain plots. There's corn and beans in there. I'm gonna do like 1/2 acre to 3/4 acres of brassicas just to have a green, some diversity, some transition. And I'm kind of counting on having to broadcast some cereal grains in there to save them in September.
Yeah, when they start
I'm
mowing
a big
gone
fan.
before you can even benefit from it.
Right.
And that's what happens. I'm a huge fan of the clover.
Oh yeah.
And mixing the different types of clover.
Yep, agree.
What we found too in that area, it's hard. Like I said, it's hard to grow stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you just have thin topsoil.
If any.
That's it.
The
topsoil.
There's no such thing as topsoil
is
sand.
The
It's been
last 15
stripped,
years of erosion of that
That's
sand
it.
rock.
But
mowing on the reclaim stuff,
Brush hog,
and all that garbage.
Makes a world of difference.
Just
allowing
that natural fresh growth come up makes a huge difference.
They do any burning down there?
Zero.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When I say zero, I mean zero.
I burned off in the past 2 years. We burned off about 30 acres of old fescue, old pasture, and we went in October, the year before we burned, and sprayed the grasses with glyphosate. So most of the broadleaves have gone dormant, so all you see is grass. So we nuked them, and then went back in February, March, and burned them. And the browse that's in there now is just ridiculous.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I would love.
We kind of benefit the burning that you're referring to, the mowing.
Using the mowing, the same
the
thing.
same benefit
It does.
for us.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and I think.
Can you use chemical to kill it? Because the grass is just useless. That cool season grass, there's no benefit to it.
I mean, what is most of that's probably like a broom sedge or something, right? I don't even know what you got there.
Brush.
Yeah, it's probably like a broom
it's a
sedge. Hollow,
brown,
just big, tall, brown.
4 or 5 foot. It ain't worth shit.
Yeah, it's broom sedge or something like that.
They won't bed in that 4 or 5 foot.
No.
Oh no.
When it gets
Up against autumn olive and
in
stuff.
some of it they will when it gets.
If there's
big
other
and tall,
structure, yeah.
But it's almost mainly useless.
Yeah.
And once it grows and it's overtaken everything, then like I said, if you don't mow it or burn it, we've wanted to burn it, but we're afraid to things would get really out of control.
3 counties later.
Literally,
seriously.
I mean, you burn autumn olive at the right time, you're gonna have a.
I mean, when you know, if
Bonfire.
it jumps into one of these drainages or something down in one of these big hollers, that you're not running around and getting in front of it. It's
and so
impossible.
the preface on ours is we take serious precautions. I mean, I've got like 15-foot fire breaks on all the way around everything. So there's just nowhere it can go. And on top of that, I've got 7-8 guys every time we burn something like that.
Yeah.
I know it's technically like a non-native species, but what do you guys think about the autumn olive?
Hate it.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
It's interesting.
It's the most invasive.
I know it is.
I
mean, that's what they all put in the strip mines and the reclaim area.
Did.
No, yeah, it did.
It's outlawed.
Right.
It's
Only
outlawed
time
for
you
good
can-
reason.
Only time you can use it now is for slope stabilization. You got to
Yep.
get it approved.
Yep. But I mean, that
because it
was the
germinates, so-
mitigation efforts was put autumn olive in.
That
well,
was,
because
it was
because
so easy.
because it took root
And took
it
root
green,
fast.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
Why do you hate it?
It's so invasive. That's why.
Yeah.
It
You ever-
completely takes over.
yeah.
You ever been in Mountain Laurel?
It's twice as bad as Mountain
Mhm.
Laurel. Everybody complains about
Mountain Laurel will usually stay in an area, though. You know,
Yeah.
like you'll see it like maybe if you come off a point and you get to a certain elevation, there'll be Mountain Laurel right there or whatever. And it might be on that one big point. I mean, sometimes there's big thickets, but majority. So an autumn olive, it just spreads.
Yeah.
Like hell, I can take you into my hometown where there's never been a strip mine within
Yep. And it's all over
20
the place.
miles. But I can show you autumn olives that are sprouting up, you know.
Bird seed drops and stuff.
And it takes over your areas that we've hunted for years. It slowly takes over, and then it gets to where you can't hunt them.
But why not? Why?
Because it's so thick.
Thick and tall.
So it's gonna get 12, 14 foot
Mm-hmm.
high.
But it
And
is good deer habitat, right? They'll bed in there and
I
stuff.
mean, they can bed in there, but
Well, so consider the alternative. Like in Ohio, we have multiflora, and I don't know if it's I'm just not sure. Like,
It's not good either.
if there's a rate of
I don't think it spreads nearly as fast as autumn olive.
okay, but it's decent deer bedding to a point, but it does get too thick to a point where it's like they won't go in there. It's like it's too thick. It's all briars. It's all
And multiflora at least has some decent browsing too, where autumn olive.
Yeah, they'll eat them grains.
Yeah.
You know, if that's what they eat.
yeah while they're on there. But come season, most of it's off there.
That's right.
Yep.
You know,
So we deal with it. Frankly, in some areas, I've done some TSI and stuff, and it's like I've got patches of just like or 5-acre multiflora deal. And for now, it's like it'll hold deer, but in the long term, I don't know what we're gonna do.
I can show you places. I can show you a Google Earth of a strip job that used to be I mean, how many acres is Hobet?
oh shit, thousands,
That-
tens of thousands.
Say 7,500 acres
Mhm.
of pretty much flat green grass land on top. It was a
And
drag
clover.
line job, clover and everything. Beautiful. You could see, you could hunt it. But now I could show you, like I would love to show you.
What is there to hunt though in that situation?
Deer.
You're just flat green grass. Well, I know what species, but what?
No, I'm not saying the whole entire damn thing's flat and green grass.
Okay,
But a
I'm just
lot
saying-
of it.
Yeah, a lot of it is, and it's huntable.
Mm-hmm.
So I could show you. I'd love to show you a picture from say 2005 of that 7,500 acres, an aerial picture, and then show you a picture of 2024, and you wouldn't even think it's the same damn place
So,
because
yep.
like it's completely gone. Like you know a road that used to be 60 feet wide, you might be able to get a four wheeler through it now, a side by side through it, because it just literally just takes over.
If there's any other food, they ain't eating that shit either.
Yeah. So that's what
It's got very little nutritional value.
That's
unless
what
there's
they
Yeah.
are betting in it though, right? They are.
I mean, I would think some deer bed in it, but like
I mean,
when
we
I
used
go
to
through-
drive it out
when I
like
go-
crazy, but
well,
I mean,
for instance, if you went into like a 7,500 acre block of pure autumn olive, and
and
you
gonna be shit in there.
yeah.
Yep. And you take out a section, like they call it an acre, acre and a half, and you put beans or something in there,
Yeah. Gone.
right?
They're gonna
Well,
mow it.
no. I'm saying you're going to have a good hunt
You're not gonna be able to
You're
get them
not gonna-
established.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to do it.
because there's too many deer in there.
Yeah.
They're gonna mow.
But
you.
So,
you
I
can't-
mean, I
you
would-
can't see them is the problem.
Right.
Well, but yeah, but
They're gophering
well, see, and so
through there,
I'm
basically.
coming from an area where it's like cover is our biggest limitation. Like I'm constantly trying to turn old fallow pasture into more cover.
Okay,
Yeah, not the
here's
issue
what I
here.
can tell you. You see, you know this box blind you got out here?
Mm-hmm.
You can go out there and put it on a 12-foot stand.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in an automobile thicket.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hear deer. You ain't going to see nothing. You
Sure.
ain't going to kill nothing.
I'm with you. There's an extreme visual barrier. It's just completely
You
dense.
just, they walk,
And
they
is
walk,
it public land or?
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's nothing you can do.
No, I mean you can
Yeah.
work. You can work on your lease and stuff, but we hunt public down there too, and I mean it's the same way. I mean
That's
I reclaimed the public land. My company did when it was active mines. I mean I know it like the back of my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Know what it looked like prior to.
I know what it looked like when I was finished with it.
Yeah.
Well, it's
it's
interesting though, because I mean, would you agree? There's probably more deer there now. There's more security there for deer, just for deer, regardless of huntability.
I honestly think it's as good as habitat as any place
Right.
that I've
Right.
deer hunted.
So, and it's a shame that it is public land only in the sense that, like, man, all hunters, anybody that hunts it would really benefit from some big clearings, like in an area like that. Because there's guys that will specifically seek out area, like whether it's WRP or, a pure clear cut area. It's like, yeah, there is right now, there's no way to hunt it. It's just contiguous habitat. It's pure bedding, like it's thicket. But if you can put some isolated food sources in there, areas to draw them out, I mean, it may be some of the best hunting you ever have.
Yeah, I mean,
you could do that if you was able to put in that time and effort.
It's public land, though. Why would you think the state would hear an argument like that? Be like, hey, let my company come in and clear these areas, and
You don't make guys would be sitting on those spots though once you clear them.
Sure. Well, it's public land, so yeah.
I mean, that is the one
You
thing.
have to walk in with a baseball bat down there.
I'll say ruin lightly, but when I did that elk hunt last year in Eastern Kentucky, I go and talk to all the locals, and they're like, "I ain't no elk here anymore." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" There ain't no elk anymore. There used to be. You go up there and you could see herd of 40 and 7 bulls, in this big pasture. Not there anymore. Where you go up to it, it's 12-foot autumn olive. And maybe, I don't know about the numbers because I can't see them. There were elk there. We saw them. We were on them.
Who knows though, if there was that.
You can't see shit.
Yeah.
So what they got used to for all of those years, seeing 70 elk in these areas, 2 different harems here and there. Now you can't see anything, and so they're like, yeah, they're all dead.
And
they're gone.
As a hunter, you're going in there. What are you supposed to do? You can't do nothing.
Can't do anything.
That's right.
We start
That's why
walking
I don't
in,
like
and I was like, and I had never hunted elk before at all. Right, we're walking down this thing, and I was like, I smell elk. Like that. This is what elk smells like. And there's a big bed. There's a track. We eventually got on a bull. We heard bulls bugling, but I'm literally tunneling through 10 to 12 foot autumn olive.
We done it turkey hunting
Right?
here.
If I can think of a useful side of autumn olive, it's reducing the amount of hunting pressure on public.
Yeah,
From
you can't. It's not effective. You can't do
Because
it.
the public area that we hunt, it has gone from, and this is just recently, from in 17, 18, we were killing bucks and glassing, being able to glass, I had high knobs, glass all the time, see big bucks. Hell, you can't go those knobs now.
People.
No.
Can't
Autumn
see.
olive, you can't see shit.
Oh shit.
You can't get around.
And you only
On the
have
reclaim
so
lane.
many high knobs that you can go to.
Yeah.
I wonder why they wouldn't just
It's effort, money.
burn those areas.
You can't burn autumn olive.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're gonna burn the.
You're gonna
What
have,
they do
You're
is
gonna burn the twigs
you
off.
Cut.
hear him talking about walking underneath them.
mm-hmm.
So they grow up off the ground,
Mhm.
and they, I'm gonna say they probably average a full grown 5-6 feet underneath them.
Yep.
Typically you can.
It's literally a tunnel.
Yeah, you can like hunker.
I used to grouse hunt through them and flush
You're saying the
birds.
flame won't get up that high?
No, I mean you'll just.
It'll top
burn.
kill.
You'll
Yeah,
burn
that's what
underneath them.
Yeah.
Burn that top coat of their old leaves and.
But the
whatever.
root system's there just to keep going. It's just it's
Well-
that's why it was planted.
A lot of those top, even most of your invasives will come back, but it will set it back.
I think you're more on a chemical side to try to actually control that stuff. Like, and you're talking about hardcore woody,
Well, fine.
which is like a mazapir or
Best way to do
something
is
like that. Triclopper.
mulch it,
Yep, and then
then spray it,
nuke
and
it.
spray the hell out of it, and spray it some more.
But it's costly.
Yes.
You know,
Right.
Mechanical and chemical control is
it?
It's interesting. I mean, we're just.
again, you don't want soil. What are you going to do? You can't have soil erosion. Then when you remove all that stuff, like that is the reason that they were in there.
Is the terrain's so steep.
Yep.
That's why it got planted in the first place.
Mhm.
Is because of runoff. Because they cut the top of the mountain off, which
Used to be awesome for grouse hunting. You guys got grouse down there still?
the population is growing.
Is
It
it
seems
We've-
like in the
we've
last
gone-
few
yeah,
years,
we've gone
like in the
from-
last 5 years, it seems like
starting to come back?
Yeah, I mean, like
just hearing them.
Not like it used to be.
probably
but-
like 5 years ago, we were lucky if we heard
Yep.
or
heard,
saw
heard one drumming.
six grouse a fall.
Mm-hmm.
Now you'll hear 20, 25 a fall. And
Wow.
and there's 3 coveys of quail. You can hear them.
There is a benefit to those birds from an autumn olive standpoint.
You know,
Between
so
the berries and the covers, the
I have
ability to have some ground nesting
I have
there.
heard that. I'm not a bird guy,
Yeah.
but
And
I
nobody
have heard
That's what
that,
I've-
that the
nobody on these
benefit
bird
of
hunts.
autumn olive is the bird.
You get bears pushed out of there too.
Yeah, the bears will.
the bears will, they'll eat autumn olives early.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
At a
once
certain,
the cherry
certain period of time there.
once the cherry goes away,
Then they start moving probably up into the hard
and
mast
then
and
and
stuff.
then the cherries usually hit first, and we don't have a whole lot of cherry,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll hit the autumn olives, and then once the once the acorns start hitting,
Yeah, then they're up
they're
out.
in the acorns and then the beech nuts,
Yep.
and and then they'll hit the grapes late season.
You forgot blackberries.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
early.
early,
That's
early. Yeah.
That they'll hit the
Yeah, they go in and you'll see them just raping
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the blackberry bushes, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you'll start seeing the autumn olive tops get
Yeah.
broke out.
They're all it's crazy.
And
I mean,
then-
you guys are in one of the I don't know if I'd call it premier, but I mean that bow hunting only area because of it being bow hunting. I mean, you've got a lot of bears down through there.
A lot of bears. Oh God, Jesus.
And
that's
we've
what
har-
we-
and
that's what
we've
we've done.
That's what we've harvested a lot of bears.
We've
Yeah.
I mean, collectively as a
I mean-
a group of guys down there in southern West Virginia, we've probably
If we gave y'all a number on bears that we've harvested, not just us, but our hounds,
Mm-hmm.
and collectively as like a group
our group, you all would probably call us liars.
in
And-
the same areas,
And
is
probably
what's
not
crazy.
affected population.
No,
You can go right
Not
back.
crazy.
You can go right back in the same area
every
and
year,
Same thing.
Well, give us a number then.
It's nuts.
say 800,
800?
700.
Between how many people roughly?
Oh, and we hunt as a group.
10.
Yeah, they're probably
How many
there's probably
how-
7 houndsmen
How many kill a year?
Over how
you
long?
think?
What time frame?
since season opened in Logan for hounds in 2009.
So not that long ago.
Wow.
How many?
lot of
So how many
bears.
bears did you kill last year? Ballpark.
Oh, we only killed.
We
hunted by
we've
ourselves.
slacked off,
Yeah, we've slacked off. But
bear
we only
hunting.
killed 5.
Mm-hmm.
But we
and it
killed
plays a
5.
factor too. Is like he had, I didn't kill a deer till December the 13th. He didn't kill a deer at all last year, so we kind
So
of
that's where your priority
was
was.
kind of going that
So
direction.
if you kill one early, then you
Then you
go.
can run your hounds.
yeah, we're gonna put more emphasis on that.
Yeah, because you don't want to run your hounds through where
in
you're
years,
deer hunting.
in years
No.
past, we wasn't like that. In years
It's not that
past,
they're going to run your deer off.
Yeah.
in years
They're
past,
gonna-
in December, it didn't come hell or high water.
Didn't
We
matter
hunted-
deer.
We hunted
We hunted bears.
28 days
Yeah.
in December,
Dude,
taking
I-
off Christmas Eve, Christmas Day,
That's
and
it.
usually everybody petered out by New Year's
Yeah.
Eve, and but when you put that kind of a grind in, you're going to produce results.
Dude, we're
And-
pretty spoiled. Like in Ohio and in Illinois, like to have no bears,
Oh,
told
you
it-
no
will have 'em.
snakes.
You'll have them.
no hogs.
Well,
Well,
our hogs got stocked. We don't have feral hogs.
No.
well, everybody's got stocked hogs. Yeah,
No,
Mm-mm.
no, not
Totally different.
totally different.
yours got out of a pen.
No, ours got brought over from
Oh,
Scandinavian in '69 for the coal mine. There was no deer in southern West Virginia.
So they brought those in from a feeding perspective?
You're saying
No,
the
to
deer
give
got stocked or the pigs got
the
stocked?
pigs,
Okay.
they're wild Eurasian boars.
Completely different than what we have down south?
That's
Absolutely.
complete. I mean, ours get tested, and if they have a strain of feral in them, they're going to kill them all.
Hmm.
They don't. They got stocked because there was no.
I don't think they are. They can't kill them in the south. That they might try.
You could kill these. This is the difference.
Okay.
This is everybody says, man, y'all got hogs. They're going to ruin everything. Well, they got stocked in the late '60s because there was no deer for the coal miners to hunt.
Mm.
So legislatures voted to bring hogs across the pond. They stocked them in 3 areas, and those hogs to this day are in those 3 areas. They do not migrate anywhere else.
You're not allowed to, non-residents
non-residents aren't allowed to hunt them.
So they actually are like
They're highly
somewhat
regulated.
protecting them.
Well, no, it's just regulated.
Yeah.
And then in the early 2000s, they about went extinct.
Wow.
And now they blossomed again in the last 7-8 years.
Are those different than the ones they're seeing down in like Smoky Mountains National Park and stuff?
Yes.
So it is truly like isolated to what you guys have.
And they don't, like, they're not taking over.
Interesting.
How do people down there feel about them? Do they want them there, or they don't?
Oh, yeah, we love hunting them.
Yeah.
How many can you kill a year as a resident?
1 per. It's kind of weird. It's 1.
It is weird, but it's 1.
Yeah, so if you kill one in the fall, there's a fall season, and then there's a winter season. So if you kill one in the fall, you can't kill one in the winter in February.
Interesting.
And then if you kill one in February, you can't kill one in the fall.
Okay. Yeah,
So
like
it's
our Kentucky Bear season.
1 per license year.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, because in areas where you have the feral hogs,
It's like murder them.
90% of the guys are like, they don't want them, and they can't kill them all.
And see, there's several videos of us hunting them on our YouTube channel, and there's a lot of commenters that don't understand. They're like you when we just started this conversation, and they're like, "Oh, you should have done this." You know, I put one, like, I spot and stalked one, and I shot him at 10 yards head on. And one guy commented, he's like, "Oh man, when you started at him, all you got to do is just walk straight towards him." I'm like, "You don't walk straight towards these. Like, this is a totally different animal." He's just thinking, they're thinking that.
What about size-wise? Like, what are we, or is it like, are we talking big?
Yeah, I mean, I killed one this year. It was the biggest boar that I've ever killed. He dressed at 261.
Holy
cow. You're not going to get that big.
No, that's.
Are you running hounds for them?
That sounds like some good.
You're not running hounds.
Not really.
Big boars is you gotta have taste buds.
So have you guys heard like the Southern people are like they won't even
with a taste?
They won't even eat them anymore. They don't want to touch them.
They probably got tired of them.
Well, they're afraid of the diseases and everything else it carries.
Yeah, no, these hogs, like, it's top 2 meat for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you go,
it's top
you know, if
2
you kill a
me.
deer, you kill a bear or whatever.
What's number 1?
Frog legs.
Yeah, that's easy.
Do you like frog legs?
Yeah.
That's easy.
Shit. Do I like frog legs?
Huh?
Do you not like frog legs?
No, I do.
No, that's
I don't eat them very often, but
well, we kill a bunch of them.
Just
we
straight,
got a season
just
for
straight bullfrogging.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love them.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Just bourbon on an empty stomach here.
Salivating here.
Some crinkle fries and some deep fried frog legs. That's
you are Southern.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
I'm
Tough to
telling
beat.
you hit them babies with a little Tabasco and ranch.
Tough to beat.
Green Tabasco or red?
I'm a red guy.
I'm a green guy.
Yeah.
I like green.
Yankee.
Yeah. I like the red.
That's as Southern as I get.
That's it.
No, but they're fun to hunt, man.
It's interesting. They have a controlled. I mean, because
It is
I
very
wouldn't have known
that people don't, and people don't have a clue that, you know, like I said, there's so many people that comment on them videos that
they think
just think we're down there stalking
feral hogs.
Feral
Do they
hogs.
look like feral hogs?
Oh no, they're straight black.
You don't there's none of that.
No spots, no tricolors.
If they would do that, they would literally come in.
I'm sure people are probably like, they think that you guys should be wiping them out because they're looking.
Exactly.
They think they're
sounds
feral
to me
hogs.
like a bear's dream. Do the bears wipe out? Like, do they do a number on the pigs?
No.
In all my years,
if I was a bear, that's all I'd be eating.
In my years of hunting, I have seen, and it was Jordan Butcher, one of our buddies that used to hunt with us a lot. He passed away last year, but he took a video of a bear chasing a hog.
Wow.
And it was a sow, and she had some small
piglets running.
They wouldn't like this, you know, they was probably 20, looked like they was 20 or 30 pounds. And that bear was chasing them, and undoubtedly he was trying to eat one.
Wow.
I would devour some piglets.
Yeah, but that's the only. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's the only instance that I've seen that happen.
Those black bears put a hurting on fawns, is what they in that area between there. I worked in Northern Virginia. I mean, coyotes would do it too, but I mean, our black bears during like the peak fawning, it just mauling them. maul and fawns.
I think bobcats.
Yep, bobcats as well.
Bobcats kill more deer than
Yep.
anything.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we got a big population of them rascals.
We do too.
Everybody complains about coyotes, and I do. I think coyotes get fawns.
Sure. Bobcats are
I think-
born killers.
I think bobcats.
Yep.
Well, it don't
Slippery.
take much. I mean,
Well, you don't have a
laser.
you don't have a
I think-
bobcat
I think
season in
bobcats
Ohio.
I think bobcats are killing full-grown deer.
Yeah, I think that's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
The fact that that Ohio doesn't have a bobcat season is off. Like,
Can't kill them at all.
What?
no,
You can't kill them at all.
There's no season.
Really?
like in my place in Meigs County. I mean, I can show you pictures from yesterday of 2 or 3. I mean, they're all over. I've got one literally.
They tried. They did try to pass it at one point.
Yeah,
It
it got knocked down.
There was a animal rights.
I've got
thing.
one literally. I've got a
Surprise!
ring. I've got a ring camera at my little deer camp, and he or she will walk across my porch
Yeah.
on a every other day basis.
Well, just like West Virginia, you're allowed to kill them in the daytime. You're allowed to kill 2 a year. You can kill them in the daytime, called,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not allowed to kill them at nighttime with thermals.
I don't.
We thermal hunt.
I mean, I get it when trapping and stuff was like, it was the heart. Like, there were a lot of people doing it and stuff. But man, to me anymore, there's no way we're gonna wipe out bobcats, right? There's no way we're gonna wipe out coyotes. I mean, we're trying in the South to wipe out feral hog. Like, all of these, there's not enough participation and activity and efficiency to wipe out these populations.
There's not enough interest.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody
So
cares.
the fact that there's still regulation, I mean, to me, like, you should be able to kill coyotes however you want, any which way you want. Same with
You
bobcats.
can in Ohio. There's no season in Ohio actually.
Yep.
Yeah, you can.
But
shoot
in
them
other states, there
whenever
are.
and
West
however you
Virginia,
want.
there is.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy. I'd give up some of that freedom on coyotes to be able to kill some bobcats
Agree.
because we get a lot of them.
Those predators, though, in the eyes of the non-hunting public and especially the antis, is just like, it's sacred ground.
I think it's just because it's a cat.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
know.
just cute,
Like,
cute,
that's-
cuddly.
That's
to-
exactly like
Same with bears.
Those,
in some
those sons of
areas.
bitches are ferocious, though. Friggin' bobcat is a just
Oh
trained
yeah,
killer,
me
man.
personally, I'd rather fight a coyote than a bobcat.
Yeah. That thing go to your jugular.
Coyotes don't scare me. Dogs don't scare me in general.
Yeah.
I'd fight a dog. The Hunter Podcast is brought to you by Sever.
Well, one of the biggest things that we always talk about is what our arrow setups are. And this year we're shooting the Sever broadheads. I think we're both shooting the new 2-inch titanium broadhead. And so, we're huge proponents of expandables. And I know we've had this argument back and forth with people, but
we're right and you're wrong, and you just need to accept it.
We just want to have a giant wound that pumps out blood. That's the bottom line.
We build our arrow setups and shoot bows, to maximize penetration, and we shoot broadheads that are going to give us the best blood trails, the most hemorrhage possible. And so part of those setups is we're also shooting the Easton arrows here coming up pretty soon. So we've shot the Victory in the past, and there's all kind of great arrow shafts on the market, but like we're looking for a whole system from broadhead to arrow components to the arrow shaft itself. And the more we look at some of these Easton shafts and the components that go with them, that setup's going to be really deadly for us.
Yeah, I'm actually using the Easton traditional axis right now in my traditional setups for both my recurve and my longbow. I've got a 100-grain brass insert on those, and then obviously I'm using a fixed blade broadhead on those specific shafts.
Right on.
So, but yeah, our goal is always to be shooting the best broadhead that we think is going to be the most lethal for our setups. We've done plenty of research. We believe in the Sever broadheads, and we hope you would check them out at Sever Broadheads as well. Be more afraid of rattlesnake than I was of bobcat.
About got bit last week.
Did you?
Closest
Yeah,
I've ever come.
We've seen a lot this
Twice.
turkey season.
Big old timbers,
from a
probably.
snake?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
2 rattlesnakes.
Yeah, we've seen
Me and
several.
Cole, we went to.
Mm.
He's not used to them. He's from Wisconsin.
Yeah, he doesn't have that stuff.
Yeah. So he's like, we jump up on a berm, we call, and turkey's across the way, so we got to get down, go through the ditch, and the ditch I'm referring to is on an old reclaim strip. It's 30 yards wide, and it's got some dikes in it. Well, this one particular dike that we had to go up and over, it ain't 4 or 5 feet high and 30 feet long, but it's all rock.
Mm-hmm.
This big, big as a basketball or so.
Yep, you're just stepping.
Yeah, and Cole just went boop, 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 right across the top of it. And my first step, I seen a copperhead that he literally, I'm a step for step behind him, probably 5 feet. My first step, I see a copperhead. Well, the copperhead, he's going.
Yeah, he's getting down under.
He's going down.
Yeah.
And I'm not really that worried about a copperhead because I got boots on. Unless I fall on him, he's not going to hit me above my boots. As I was going, just kind of veering away from the copperhead, I look, and I'm already committed to this step, and there's a black rattlesnake laying there. I don't know. I've heard that that's the males, but I don't know.
Black phase at timber or something. Yeah.
So it wasn't real big, probably I'm gonna say 30 inches maybe. Well, it curls up as I'm going over it, and just luckily I had enough in my right leg still to bounce. So I bounced over him, got into the slate, where it's clean, and I was like, "Holy hell, Cole!"
He had no idea.
No. He's like, "What?" Like he's freaking out because I'm being loud because there's a gobbler across the holler. I'm like, "Frig that gobbler! We just about got bit by a snake." And he's like, "Where?" I said, "Come over here." So I walk back over there because I know exactly right where it's at, and I'm expecting to be probably from me to you, and I'm like peeking over, trying to look down in that little rock place. I'm this far from a big yellow rattlesnake that's as big as that Nalgene bottle, and it goes like that, curls up, and I bounce.
Walking on air back out of there.
A different snake.
Different snake, yeah.
You can ask soaking Cole. Up all that heat right there on them rocks.
You can ask Cole. Like I was distraught for probably.
Yeah.
It probably took me 20 minutes to wind down just because I just in my mind I knew I was so damn close to getting bit right there.
Well, think about how much ground you cover. That's what always gets me is like there's a period of time where I'm on edge, like I'm looking for him, but then eventually the guard goes down because it's how many days, how many miles of nothing. And I did that in Kentucky. I jumped up on a log. I heard deer running. I jumped up on a log, looked down. I'm like, man, I can't see him. I looked down right underneath me, just this big old timber rattler just coiled up. And it was cold, so he wasn't doing much, but it was like, had I jumped right down, which I normally would have to get a better look, I mean, he would have been right back at the back of my calf.
But it was...
Don't even say it. Don't even say it.
If you would have jumped down and he got the back of your calf, then it was meant to be. There's no reason. Like, I don't go through the woods thinking about snakes. Like, I'm just going. Like, if I step on one and one gets me, then it gets me.
You don't look for them at all?
No, very seldom.
Wow.
See, I'm like that too, but like right now, because of that
incident, your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
I just think
and it'll wear off eventually, but right now
So what do you do? What do you do if you get bit?
Hell, I don't know. Well, I ain't never got bit yet.
Copperhead, you probably keep on hunting.
So Emily got bit by a copperhead.
Remember
that a few years ago at the house?
Yeah, I think it all varies.
Yeah.
I know a guy that.
I mean, literally. I know a guy. I thought about it. Like, do you run out?
No.
Do you walk out?
You don't want your blood
That's
pumping.
the worst thing. That's what I was getting ready to say. I know a guy that's been bit by both species. He said, and he's like, they won't kill you. There's no snake in West Virginia that'll kill you. And I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know if there is or not. And he's like, there's not.
Rattlesnake won't kill you?
Well, he says if a rattlesnake kills you, it's your fault.
I think if you handle it wrong.
Right. That's what he's getting at.
That's why I'm asking.
Who is going to be prepared?
Nobody.
To get bit.
No, when a rattlesnake bites me, my blood pressure's going up.
Well, I don't know what prepared looks like. I mean, nobody's got the antivenom.
I mean,
that's what I'm asking.
That's
what
I'm
do you do?
The biggest thing is supposedly, I think, is to stay calm.
Yep.
And not. Yeah. I'm not saying that's what I would do.
That's what I was hoping for. Yeah. Everybody stay calm.
Between that and Cole's got to start sucking the venom out.
Yeah. Cole, right here.
Yeah. I don't think they do that anymore.
No, I don't think so. I mean, do you
probably
guys
not
wear snake
recommended.
boots at all?
No.
See,
geez, they're too hot.
I know they are. There are certain situations where if I know I'm in like, I don't. To your point, I pay attention, but I don't really care about the copperhead side. If I'm in rattlesnake territory and I'm like just easing through or doing something stupid, like not making big hikes, I'll wear snake boots. And I've gone through 15 pairs trying to find a comfortable pair of snake boots because they like don't exist.
We wear chaps.
You're wearing chaps over top, which is what we would wear in South Dakota.
Snake gators.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we bear hunt in the summer, you're bear hunting at nighttime.
Yep. So you're wearing them.
Yeah, so when my son goes with me, he's wearing them.
The only area that we've thought we'd run into them was North Dakota, and we wear gators.
At Northern Kentucky time, we were in them when we were going through that clear cut on Ryan's property.
I think
where I shot those does.
Any of them will kill. I mean, I think rattlesnake will kill you. just depends on how you react.
My wife got bit by a
But you want to
copperhead.
get to the hospital.
Damn
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
So how do you get there is the question.
Calmly.
Calmly.
You just, okay.
See, I don't believe that shit.
Yeah.
You don't?
You don't.
I mean,
You don't want the blood
I
to
just don't
pump
think-
through your heart
I just don't think.
and carry the
I mean, blood's
toxins.
pumping through your heart. no
I
matter
don't
what.
think man's mind.
Cinch.
You get bit by a rattlesnake, it's gonna be hard for anybody to sit there and go, "Hey, you're gonna be all right. You just got bit by a rattlesnake."
Well,
I
And
think
you're
you'd have
gonna-
more
you're gonna
mental
be good.
problems already.
Well,
if
it's
you can
the-
stay
it's
calm
the
through
unknown
that-
of the outcome. If you can just survive with a rattlesnake bite, and people know that, I think I'd be more okay.
Well,
Like it's going to be okay.
keep in mind there are
But if you think I'm going to die if I
there
don't
are
get out of here,
series
then-
of it. Like there are a lot of times, and it depends on like a lot of the adult snakes, you'll actually get dry bit, which is not venom, because the snake doesn't want to release all its venom.
Right.
It that takes a ton of energy
Onto
and time
something
to build. Yeah, they're trying to do that on the food that they're consuming. They don't want to have to do that on you. So like a dry bite, and you don't know it, right? But like, not really a big effect on that side. From what a rumor, right, or what I've heard is, and even with copperheads, a lot of the smaller, like younger snakes,
Right.
don't have that control.
They don't. Yes,
They just
exactly. They don't know
let
how
it go.
to control that.
So that's the side of things that ends up being an issue. But when Emily got bit by that copperhead, first of all, at the time, because we have timber rattlers, we didn't know what it was. She looked down, briefly saw the snake, couldn't obviously heart's racing. She had the kids with her, so she had to get life flighted just because they didn't know what it was going to be. Come to find out it was copperhead. And basically, they didn't give her an anti-venom, but they just monitored it. And her pain, basically, if her pain would have went above her knee, then they would have applied some sort of like anti-venom. But it just stayed at the kneecap. And I mean, it was nasty and it was red and it was painful. But like, that was it. Now, on a rattlesnake, especially if you get the venom, I think it's a whole different ballgame.
Now she has superpowers.
Yeah.
Dude, I got bit by a black widow
Did you?
Did
Yeah.
you really?
in my sleeping bag
Where at?
in West Virginia.
On his balls.
Where on your?
Oh no! Right below
he
my-
said in West Virginia.
now you're shooting. Now you're shooting webs.
Yeah. No, right below my left knee.
Did you know right away?
No, I just knew that morning, like my knee was sore. And
You're like, what the hell?
and I was like, damn. And it was real early, and I was telling Sean, a buddy of ours, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out. And he's like, quit being a puss. He's like, let's go. I know you're trying to back out.
Suck it up.
So, and this is when, I was using climbing spikes to get in the tree. I packed a little lock-on windwalker tree stand. And
World War II era.
yeah.
Right. Civil War.
And
For the South.
I climbed up in the tree. And as the morning progressively, my knee just started getting worse and worse. And I was like, man, something's wrong. Then Sean hollered and said he, on a two-way radio, we didn't have cell phones in. And he was like, I killed a deer. And I was like, all right, I'll try to get down. My knee's killing me. And I couldn't climb down with my spikes, so I shimmied down the tree, and I was going down there
Just hobbling.
straight legging, and we were at a camp we have. It's like 3 hours away. No hospitals,
Mm-hmm.
and I got back to camp, and I'd like dropped my britches, and my knee was already swelled up, and I was like, damn. And I went and looked at my sleeping bag, and I'd killed it in the night, didn't know it.
Damn.
And then I was like, that's all right. So I took some ibuprofen and started drinking beer.
That'll do it.
And this is like at noon, and
kind of beer.
at
Bud.
that time,
Bud Heavy,
at
for
that
sure.
time, I was drinking Bud Heavy.
Straight diesel.
That should have done it.
Straight diesel. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll cure most things.
Right.
By like 6 or 7,
Bud Heavy.
I didn't go back out to hunt. And like I had a 102 temperature. And I
Damn.
was like, hey, I'm gonna go to bed and sleep it off. And then like at 1 in the morning, man, like my heart beat, and it was just like excruciating pain from like my thigh down. And I told Sean, I was like, dude, I'm jacked up, man. He's like, what? I was like, you gotta get me to a hospital. Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm something's happening. And like my leg was red and yellow. You could feel the heat off of it.
Whew.
And at the time, I didn't have insurance. So I went down to the VA, which was 3.5 hours away, and got down there, and they ended up admitting me, and I was in the hospital like 9 days.
Holy shit.
Heavy antibiotics. Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
How did they determine it was Black Widow?
Oh, I had it.
You saw it went
Yeah,
into
I had
sleeping
it. I had it
bag.
in my sleeping bag. It was
No
dead.
way.
Yeah, I'd killed it, I guess, in my sleep, and we found it the next day. And I was like, I said, I've heard more bad things about recluse.
I was gonna say I see more and more brown recluse. Like,
and I don't know if it's just where my body reacted differently.
I think that's the same way with snakes.
Yeah.
Like you got some guys that'll get hammered by a rattlesnake and they just look at you and I'll be all right. You know, might get a little bit sick, and then you got one guy that his leg's gonna rot off.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know. I mean, that's why I'm asking. You want to know the lethality because you want to respond accordingly.
I think it's just unknown.
You know, because if it's like I get bit by a rattlesnake and I'm like, oh, I'll be fine, and then I'm dead 2 hours later, like that's probably not the right response. Like you want to. So what is it? It's like, well, don't run, but maybe walk to the truck and get
safely get to a hospital as quick as you can.
I mean, the reality on a rattlesnake, though, like that rattlesnake does not want to bite you.
I think you're still
he does
running
not,
or not. You're still
he
better
or
off to go to
she
the
don't
hospital.
want to spend that energy. Doesn't want to engage.
That's terrifying.
That's why they rattle.
Oh no, it was bad.
Yeah, that can happen. Real easily. And
when I was in the hospital for so
sucks.
long, like first couple of days, like it was sketchy.
I've seen recluse bites, not like to that level, but at least like around the actual bite, like the skin deterioration and everything.
It eats
tissue away.
Yeah.
Rattlesnake does that too.
Yep, starts to eat that tissue
well,
away.
and a localized injury is one thing, but like
It's
something
the
that can go to your
systemic.
heart and kill you, that's another level of scary.
My system had gone septic with the
Yeah.
infection, and it was just moving up.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so bad, because I had neglected it for 2 days.
Either of you guys got Lyme disease?
Nope.
Nope.
We both do.
Mhm.
Jeff found out yesterday he's got his. Carrie's dad.
Carrie's dad does.
Yep. Just was riding his bike out in the back there. Got a tick up in his inner thigh there, and
Yeah.
big welt.
Dude, for years, I don't know how many times I said it. Like, ticks got to eat too. So I never cared if they attached to me or nothing. I didn't.
Well,
and I mean, serious. I mean,
between the Copenhagen and the Bud Diesel, they probably weren't getting much out of there.
that was my attitude until Fehrenbaugh. He got Lyme.
Yeah,
disease
Zach.
2 years ago, and like it put him.
He did,
back.
didn't he? He was in rough shape.
No, like it jacked him up.
You
like
know
he
what?
Was,
Has
he
he talked about that a lot?
Oh yeah,
Really?
I mean,
I knew
with
he was
me,
out
just on
for a
a phone
while.
call.
I don't think much publicly.
No,
he was just kind of out.
like he was out for like 60 days,
Remember that?
and then Bo got it.
That's when it started.
And then
attacking
I was
the
like,
got
joints.
it?
Yeah, and I was like, maybe I don't want this shit.
Starts attacking
So it
the
wasn't until
joints
like
and stuff.
last 2 years that I started using.
Did Martonic have any serious symptoms?
Down and out?
Really?
Yeah.
When?
When did he got it about the same time Fehrenbaugh did? I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's when I started going, man, maybe I shouldn't let him latch on to me. Because, I mean, dude, I had this big, huge beard, and the only reason I shaved 1 year is because I was clean. And, I'm a clean person, but I felt like a knot under my jawbone. And I don't know how long that tick had been there. It was like the side tip of my thumb.
That tick was so full of Copenhagen by the time it was done.
I was like, man, maybe I should start watching these things. And then, now
Yeah.
we're all aware of it, and like you don't want
Well,
it.
He
it's
wasn't itchy or anything?
Nah, man.
Oh.
It's just progressively gotten worse. Like,
Yeah.
dude, growing up, like if I found
You
a
know
tick
what, though,
on me,
dude?
it was like, holy shit, this is like a rarity. Now it's like every time.
Dude, I used to get.
Why?
I used to catch ticks
I don't
in
know,
me
man.
all
I
the
don't
time.
either.
I have no idea.
I used to catch ticks in me all the time. Like as a kid, I remember.
You did?
Yep, I remember taking my shirt off and I'd be like, "There's 4 in my back." Like, and
Really?
I'd freak out. I knew it wasn't good. Like, and I would get them out. But I don't think I've had a tick in me. Like, I can remember the last time.
Probably when we were in Kansas and the seed ticks.
Well,
I was
that's
basically like a
different.
monkey picking them off of you.
Them damn things, man.
That's different than deer.
And even
Yeah.
that was a long time ago. That was 7 years ago.
See,
I
we
mean-
never. I've been in the woods. I'm 34. Been in the woods since I was 10 years old.
Never had them.
Never, ever had a seed tick. Didn't know what that was. Never heard of them.
Dude.
Never seen them.
We sat in
The
something.
No, we've been eat up.
The past
with
3
Oh,
or 4
yeah.
or 5 years.
All over the place.
It's unbelievable.
You hit one bush and it's. We were running in Kentucky at the
worst place
farm.
in the world for seed
Yep.
ticks is Kentucky.
This summer, we're on a trail. My 8-year-old's out in front of me. My 10-year-old's there, and my wife's behind me. We're running. We run up through. We come back. We're sitting at the truck, and my youngest, and he's like outdoorsman to a T. Like kid, you just put him out in the woods, he'll survive for a week. Doesn't matter. He's like, man, Dad, I'm itchy. And I was like, well, you got all this mud on you. Let me get it off. It's all sea ticks. I'm talking hundreds up and down his legs.
Dude, I got. What year was that Shelby killed that 9-point?
2 years ago, 3 years ago,
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
I got absolutely, and this is proof that I had no idea what the hell was going on. So me and my wife had been scouting this one particular buck, pretty good lot, and I went up to another little area to see. There was a little logging road there, and I was going to walk that logging road and see if there was any sign on it from him, and mainly because there wasn't very many deer in there, and I was looking for a track.
You knew what you were looking for,
yeah.
Yep.
And so I stroll through there, and it's hot, summertime maybe, like late summer, early fall, and I thought that I was having an allergic reaction to like fabric softener or something, because when I got hot, it just coincidentally I started itching.
Yep.
You use fabric softener?
I don't know what the hell. I don't use nothing.
I mean, dryer sheet.
Huh? I like them little sprinkles. You know what I'm talking about?
You sprinkle that stuff in it?
Yeah, Unstoppables or whatever they're called.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the hell they're called. I see them. I buy them.
Clean.
I buy them.
You buy them?
Yeah, I
He uses
buy
that
them.
shit during deer season too.
No, I don't either.
I tell you what, not to interrupt your story, but dude, I've got a bit of a complex. I won't wear. My wife loves cologne.
Dude, we're not getting into scent control, are we?
Well, I'm not big on scent control. I'm not, but I won't wear cologne like even in the off season. I just don't like putting scent on me.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of smelling a certain way that ain't natural.
I've always said.
Not for deer. For me. There's something about me.
I don't think I've worn cologne since I was in high school.
Well, and
Yeah,
I
I
feel
used to
bad because
rock
my
it.
wife likes it. If I do ever wear it, she's like, I like that.
Boy, it smells good.
Oh, you're wearing the old Sex Panther.
Yeah, 60% of the time it works every time. Well, my success rate without cologne is pretty good, so I feel like I can get away without it.
I smell more like doe piss through most of November. So.
I'll wear deodorant. Don't get me wrong. I put on Old Spice, straight up, whatever. But just cologne, I'm not in the habit of like intentionally smelling unnatural.
I don't even care if like my wife, she loves to smell our clothes, or our kids.
Smelling fresh and clean.
I could care less. Like I could wash all my clothes in non-scented detergent.
Yep.
And not care one bit.
Yep.
Like I do, I'm pretty sure. I don't even think we wear or use dryer sheets.
See, I can't stand the staticky stuff. I got to have some dryer sheets to get rid of static.
A towel that's not washed with fabric softener, it can be pretty rough.
Can it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Jared takes ice cold showers and he's in all that.
No, I'm out. See, I'm out on that stuff.
He's like, yeah, that's his style.
I'm not into
Hasn't bothered me.
I'm an ice bath guy.
All you need is a little soap and water.
No, he said shower.
Oh, you don't do ice baths?
No, I do. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He does ice baths too.
My son and I
I'm big on it.
When's the last time you
fans
took a
of-
hot shower?
Most times I'll start hot,
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
that's to close your pores. Or
well,
something,
so
right?
and truthfully, right now I'm off it a little bit. I'm off the.
interesting. For a while there, it was like pure cold.
Well, I'm more off the sauna. So for a while there, I was sauna every day, ice bath every day. In the winter, it's doable. So the problem is like, they're expensive. Like, so I've got like a little. It's basically like a sleeping bag. It goes up to your neck on a frame it pumps steam in there, and that's my sauna, and it's no joke, right?
I would imagine it probably smoke you out of there.
It's no joke. So it's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half hour I can do. And then in the winter, I've got just a tub from Tractor Supply. Break that ice and get in there. And it's awesome. I love it.
We got a $60 inflatable barrel.
Yep.
That we use for.
And do you have like a unit that's keeping it cold?
Nah, that's what sucks is like we don't have a chiller.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. How do you keep- like, so right
that
now,
chiller is like $1,000.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
if you
keeps
want-
most people out.
So
of it.
right now, I've not been doing the ice bath because I don't have a way
So
to.
what we do is we go to Speedway or whatever gas station and get those big gulp plastic cups,
You do.
and we'll get like 10 or 12 of them, fill them up with water, and put them in the freezer, and then we put those chunks of
Ice.
and we can get down like in the spring and summer, we can get it down to like 51, 52.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, you want that at like 35.
No, like prime for us is like 37 to 42, 44.
That's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold.
And
That's cold.
but in like the fall,
You ever done an ice bath?
No.
the fall to like early spring, like it's easy because
Yeah.
we keep the tube in there, and it's dirty.
I
but
love
it's
it.
only me and my son.
I don't
getting
care.
In, so I don't give
Mine's
a shit.
disgusting. It's
Yeah.
filthy.
Yeah, it's got algae in it.
Oh,
Doesn't bother me a bit.
yeah.
We go out there and bust it, and both of
My
them.
sauna is too. It's like I'm not
You know,
washing it.
yeah.
Like I'll every
And the thing about it is,
every
like,
6 months
if
to
it-
a year I'll buy a new one.
If
like,
it's 40 degrees
So moldy
out,
in here.
Jesus, can you imagine what that song that? Ooh.
She's right.
my son and I we sit out there and talk to each other while we're doing it.
Yeah.
And we time each other. So whoever, if it's 40 degrees, he's standing out there in his drawers.
how long do you go in an ice bath?
I do like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's
My
me too.
son, he does anywhere from 5 to 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know the science on it, but
I don't
think,
either,
I
but
think 5 minutes seems like a safe mark.
Yes.
Anything
For me,
anything over a minute, like you're in a good zone. 5 minutes is that's plenty.
yeah. And that's my goal is 4 to 5
He's just
minutes.
trying to beat old dad, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got used to it. He just jumped.
It's
right
no
in. He's
joke, isn't it?
15, and he
Man,
loves
that's
it.
you feel
Like,
there's a
when I-
euphoria that comes for the next hour or
It's
two
like-
after that.
It's like when I used to run.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever ran and got that
Yeah.
running high.
Yeah, I have.
That's what I gained.
Yeah, yeah.
from
That's
the
what
ice
it is.
bath.
For sure.
I love it, and it makes me feel better. And Brody loves it because it's good rehab for him.
We're 12:45. You okay?
Yeah, we'll go 15 more minutes if it's cool with you all.
Okay.
Because I've got to get to that. If I don't get to the factory,
No, you're good.
I'm not going to get
They're
my
gonna
top,
reset
and
you.
then
Yeah.
Zach and I are going to be pissed off all week because our shit's going to get rained on.
No, you're good.
Because I don't have a top on my.
They're you getting a camper top on?
Yeah, Diamondback's hooking me up.
Mm-hmm. I'll
Cool.
tell you what, I want on a truck without some sort of topper on that back anymore. Just I travel too much shit.
I usually
usually
have
got
a
a topper.
full
A big
topper on every truck.
I do too.
Even in my Jeep I had a topper on it.
Yep.
And I started getting them because of travel baseball.
Yep.
Because we'd get our stuff.
Yeah, everything just shove in there and you want to keep it dry.
That's right. And it keeps it out of the weather.
I'll tell you what, dude. I'm within a year or two probably of needing a new truck. I got 170,000 on that 4Runner out there,
Did you say you're a year or two?
or 3.
Damn it, man. Hardcore.
That's my second.
He's
4Runner.
milking it.
The last one I got like
Josh doesn't change oil.
250 out of
He doesn't
Yeah.
change oil.
I got my oil changed 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to the same place every time. It's just this routine.
When it gets due, he trades.
Yep. Them 4Runners, dude, they hold their value forever,
They do.
Oh, no, they do.
and they run forever.
I got one.
And I'm just not in the habit of swapping out trucks. Like it's been paid off for years now.
do you
and-
sleep in it?
No. What do you mean? I will.
I mean,
Like if you went on a hunt or something.
I mean, are you hunting out of it?
No. I mean, dude, we're not like.
You don't have to explain it to me because I'm not that guy that's going to go out there and live in a truck and hunt either. If I got a chance to live in
I've never been in a situation where I've had to. I have slept in the truck, but almost always I'm able to line something up. Like,
Yeah.
dude, frankly, that's the biggest benefit of the podcast is like, in fact, just this morning, Paul Rousey was,
You see that?
yeah, texted us like, so we bought the Illinois farm and like, there is a house on it, but the gentleman we bought it from is, we made a deal with him that he can live there.
Yeah, we don't want it. We don't. Guys live there his whole life. It's like why kick
And
him
he's
out?
89. I mean, he may not be there next time we go out, frankly, but, and so it's super cool to have, like, we have 3-4 people reach out within a week of us buying that farm, be like, come stay with us. Like, love the podcast or whatever. And we're like, yeah, we're coming.
Yes.
We'll come stay with you and stuff. So we've never not been able to just find a place to stay. So
I've hunted out of my truck a couple times.
stayed in freaking Chris Brackett's Airbnb last time we went out.
Yeah,
you know?
Chris's. Yeah, and it's just a lot of it. Like if I've done several trips, so it's 3 hours to my Meigs County farm from here. So if I'll leave super early, and if I get there like 2 hours early or something, I'll just take an hour power nap in the truck, and then go out. But
We'll have to figure it out in Iowa this year. So Iowa's a new one.
Mhm.
Well, same deal. We had several people be like, come stay with us.
We
And-
ran into a random guy when we were shed hunting. We were coming out of a farm, walking across this cornfield, middle of fucking nowhere, right? Come across this cornfield. I'm like, oh shit, we're about to have one of those encounters. There's this dude sitting in his truck waiting for us. Come up to him. He's like, oh shit. He's like, you're HUNTR Podcast
He
boys,
yells
aren't you?
out,
I'm like,
HUNTR Podcast.
we're like, what? He's like,
That's how we feel.
we went back. We drank bourbon at his place. He's like, yeah, you come stay here anytime. We're like,
And it's not even him. There's another guy that's like, come stay at our place. So there's lots of options like that, but it just depends. I mean, we're going to try to line something up that's the most conducive to us being able to hunt So in Iowa, this is, obviously it takes a long time. You guys hunt in Iowa?
No, I'm going to
Never have.
I'm going to Kansas this year.
Okay.
I
So we
hope.
hunt Kansas every other year, and we got some, where did we stay last time? Airbnb. There's an Airbnb. And before that, we stayed at a little
Southeast Kansas
motel. But in Iowa, we've never hunted before. So we got 5 points each. We put in the other day. And so hopefully we'll draw zone 4 this year. Is what we're looking. So we're between, like, I'll either stay with some guys that have their Airbnbs or cabins. Stuff. There's plenty of places like that. Or, if we end up hunting almost exclusively, there's a piece of private. Like, we've got a nice 1,000-ish acre piece of private that we might be able to hunt. If we do that exclusively, we may just rent a camper nearby and pull up.
That's how we do North Dakota.
So in North Dakota, we do like an A-frame pop-up deal, and it's great. It's perfect.
Fortunately, like the places I bought in Kentucky and even in Southern Ohio have like a cabin and or like a deer camp on them when I bought them.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to, like this week here, the first 3 nights we're staying with a buddy of ours in northern New York.
Yep, there you go.
And then we're going to tent camp.
Yeah, there you go.
Week. And it's no big deal, but like if we have the opportunity, like when we go to Western Kentucky, we just go get a motel.
Yeah.
And
We have the opportunity. We're going to go eat.
yeah.
Hell
We
yeah.
wanna go eat.
I want to shower.
You want to
I
enjoy
want-
these
I want to
shower.
shower. I
Like
want
I-
to eat.
Like I want to shower.
Early September in Kentucky, I'm sweating my balls off. I want to come back and get a shower.
Is that not a rough season? That's a rough season.
I want to shower and I want to eat and then I want to feel good about going up and doing it again.
we stayed in North Dakota. There's a campground that we stay at, and we're like, who knows where?
it's so funny,
there's not
dude.
even a gas station in town there, but this.
It's right on the Montana border, like right next to it.
Yep, it's a little campground / like they have like a historic.
Well, it's an old barn, and they backed shower trailers into the barn. Yeah. And so, like, he was like, yeah, there's showers in here. We're like, oh, okay, we get it. It's the greatest thing we've ever experienced.
Made the trip.
It's amazing.
Made the trip.
It's like have a hot shower after every day, wash all that dirt. And I was like, it's amazing. And there was nobody else in the campground until like the antelope season opened.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
couple of days later.
Well, this year's gonna be interesting too because they cut the tags like by
Half.
2/3,
Yeah.
almost a third.
I just don't see any reason to rough it if you don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I grew up, dude. I mean, when we open day of PA gun season, I mean, we tent camp for 5 days from day after Thanksgiving, and it could be hailing, snowing, raining. It didn't matter. You're in a tent, and I mean, it was fun, but it was miserable.
Yeah,
Looking back now, it was miserable.
I slept in enough bad places when I was in the Marine Corps. Like, I don't have to do that now.
Yeah. No more foxholes.
I'm just.
You'll have those too. I mean, those backcountry hunts.
If you have to.
Like an elk hunt,
It's cool.
it's like there is no shower if you're back in there for a week or whatever. But in some cases, I mean, you can bring like a bladder with a thing. They sell them portable showers and stuff, and you boil some water, and one of those in a week will do you right. I mean, a mental reset to be like, okay, fresh start. I'm clean here.
Yeah. I think it's like the food thing is a big one. Like, especially if you're out burning calories and stuff, you want to come back, you want to have a good meal, you want to sleep good. And you can do a tent camp and you can rough that for a few days. But man, you go 6-7 days into something like that, and
even
it's
just one all day sit. I mean, this past year in Kansas, my dad. We've been bringing our dads with us to Kansas for the past few years, and my dad was like, he's like, hey, he's tough. Like
when he's in the stand, he ain't coming out.
He sat like for a
all
week
day,
straight,
and all
all day,
All
long.
day, 7 days in a row. Just
Don't matter where I put
bam.
him either. He'll
there.
sit there. And it was like midday on the second day. Maybe he's like, hey, maybe
And it's hot as hell.
maybe some lunch. And we've been at the house for I came back at 10 o'clock. I was like, well, I'm not sitting all that. It's a friggin'
Way to go, Dad.
75 degrees. out
Jared and I
here.
are like
Yeah.
5 or 6 day beers deep at that point.
Well, Dad
We're-
out there,
I was
boy.
drunk at that point.
Grinding.
Dad out there grinding.
He's like, maybe some lunch, So, and I, whatever, I had a few beers in me or just whatever. I was like, I packed him like the
You made
lunch.
him like a mega
like
sandwich.
2 sandwiches, like extra chips, like Snickers bars, two beers I put in there, Pringle, whatever. Took it out to him, and he texted me later. He's like, I was like almost in tears over like the lunch you brought.
Tied
me.
it to,
He's
tied
like,
it to the old pull-up rope.
It
you
meant
know?
so much. Beef jerky I put in there.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it just he was decked out.
yeah.
It was a mental
The
reset
meal,
for
like
him.
to have a nice meal like that, just will reset you. So extra mayonnaise on a sandwich, I remember. So
Yeah, we like to eat. I mean, there ain't no sense.
oh, buddy, eating's
Even
what
if
I
I'm
do.
tent camping, I can assure you, I love cooking. I'm gonna eat good. Like I'm not going out
No.
and
I ain't making any meal prep, like add
Mountain
water
meals.
to it.
I mean, I'll eat mountain meals, but like
I need meat. I need good veggies. I want a meal.
but I like eating.
on a fill up. Mm-hmm.
You know?
I like eating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, cool, boys. Well, we're gonna get you on your way, and man, we appreciate you coming up. It's been cool to get together and have this conversation. Y'all aren't far from us at all, and man, we really love being able to share this podcast with people that have passions like we do, and like clearly you guys do, and it's cool to hear, you know, where you guys are coming from and what you guys experience. I mean, we just enjoy hearing the different perspectives on things so much, and so, man, we appreciate you guys dropping in and taking the time to be with us in person. Not everybody does that, and it means a lot to us.
well, I appreciate y'all having us, and I do apologize to y'all for not, because I can see we've been talking for 2.5 hours, and
It's like nothing.
and it's like we talked about so much, but not.
Not
We
anything.
could keep going if you had time, but it's
if,
fine.
If
We'll tie you boys back in. We'll get you back in.
I would
We'll
love
have
to
some-
come
dude, you guys are welcome
I mean, it's-
anytime.
yeah.
Dude, we're so it's fun. People are like, oh, how do you get on there or whatever? It's like there is no like vetting well, you know,
There is a little bit. We just want to talk with people who are passionate about it, who are willing to have a discussion and just talk. Like we have people that are like, okay, cool. What do you want to talk about? And we're like, I have no idea.
He asked me last
I
night.
asked it last night because there's some podcasts
I said, get out of here.
that
No,
you
dude,
get on.
it is like- we don't know.
That they have an agenda, they have questions, they have topics. So I texted Jared and I was like, hey, anything that we can prepare ourselves for.
He said,
like-
he said,
Yeah.
y'all have an agenda for tomorrow, talking points, just so Zach and I are a little prepared. I said, nope, bourbon and bullshit.
Yeah. And that's perfect for us because that's the type of podcast
We
that
enjoy-
that
we
we
do good
enjoy
at.
doing.
It would be weird, wouldn't it, if I was like, okay, so let's move on to spotting and stalking. So, okay, so how do you guys do that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that. I just didn't know if you were going to get into the hound hunting.
No, I didn't.
You know,
we may have. Like if we had 5 more hours, maybe. You know,
if it came up.
Yeah.
You know, there's some stuff.
It literally, I don't think people can understand. Like, dude, literally, what do we?
Would we?
What do we? Jeremy and I sat here yesterday. Like, first of all, we were like, are we going to have a guest tomorrow or not? And we're like, maybe. No, I don't think so. So he and I just came in. There was and this is how it goes 9 times out of 10.
We didn't even talk beforehand.
No discussion. No, what do you want to talk about? It's like,
And we're back.
okay, here we go. And then it's like,
No, and I think that's great.
And we'll stumble too. Like the first 10 minutes, we're just trying to like, okay, where are we gonna go?
Well,
And
you
then-
feel it even today with every new guest, especially in person. It's like, hey, all right, let's feel a little
And
bit.
then all of a sudden-
because we just met you guys this morning for the first time. I met you one time before,
Yeah.
but
you hit a track, and then you're like, boom, you're gone, and then that peels off, and then this peels off,
well,
and you just
do you know why I've got so much confidence in that strategy? It's like we love deer hunting, all 4 of us.
Yep.
And so if nothing else, there's a central vein that we're going to find some common ground on, and like chances are there's going to be some other things that we stumble across. So like that's just how it goes.
Well, and it's going to be it's going to be real.
Yeah.
oh, that's it, man.
That's the major thing, you know.
yeah.
That's why we you know, people will ask like, oh, you know, how'd you get to this? There was no plan to get there. It's like literally our conversation took us to that place, and that's why we discussed it. Or if they say, why didn't you talk about this? It's like, I don't know. Why wouldn't talk about hunt? I don't know. We didn't get to that point.
Yeah.
You know, and there is no plan, but it's a natural discussion. It literally comes down to is like, I feel like this is, you know, we were all sitting down after a hunt at a deer camp, and we're just like shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I told you before, it's genuine and it's authentic, and you're just letting it roll.
Yeah.
Everybody joins in when they want to say something. When somebody else says something, you just back out.
That's it.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great excuse. Like, I mean, dude, this is why it's like it
great
may
That's
not
why
be.
we
for your
wanted to.
job.
That's why we wanted to do an in studio.
Yeah. I wish everybody
Like,
did, you know, and
like
I
it's
know
great
people
to
do,
do
but
Zoom and
Yeah.
that other FaceTime and all that shit. But like,
Nah, in person is hard
Yeah.
to replace, man.
well, you know what? That's one of the harder parts about growing a podcast is like, first of all, getting people to come on. It's like, I know it's a time commitment. Even if you guys did remote Zoom, it's like it's 3 hours out of your day. You're going to make time for us to be, you know what? So there's questions like, well, what's the benefit? What kind of views you guys get? And this and that. And so fortunately, like we've experienced the benefit of just word of mouth. And like, I think we've had positive experiences with people throughout. It's just a lot of fun. It's fun to come and do it. And along with that, like the following has grown. There's people that enjoy the conversation, watching it as much as we do having it. And so we've benefited as it's grown, where people are more willing to come and share time in person with us and this and that. And so
yeah,
we're grateful for
well,
how
and I think it's
grown
cool,
in that aspect.
like when we bring guys like you in, like obviously we all are hunting during the fall and stuff, but you guys are actually capturing that. You're showing that on your YouTube channel. You're showing that on social. Jared and I are not. Like we don't. This is what people see, right? And if we have a bang and hunt the weekend before, it's just us talking about the bang and hunt. There is no visual, type. So when we get to bring you guys in, for us at least, it's like, well, cool. We've watched what you've guys done. We've seen what you guys do. So have everybody else listening to this. So it's a cool atmosphere to be able to be like, oh, I know what these guys are talking about. I've seen their YouTube channel. I've seen for Jared and I, a lot of times when we get into these deep discussions of like this hunt and this is how it went, like this is all they get. Right. And we hope that we describe it enough that they can kind of use their imagination and put themselves into it. But it's cool in this discussion because I guarantee people listening to this are going to follow you guys this year and be like, oh shit, like that's what those guys were talking about. When Josh is saying he's like on the ground, like there it is. Like I'm seeing it now, right? Zach's after this specific deer. This is how he's hunting. Like those are the things we try to bring together more.
Maybe there's an element of like building demand. It's like, I know that at this point, because all they do, all our listeners have done is heard us talk about deer hunting for, going on 4 years now. And it's just like, there's probably some pent up demand, I would imagine, to see us like in the field to doing something. And it's like, we aspire to that. It's like, man, I would be into at some point, it's like if the situation was right, we're not going to like put a damper on our season to go and start filming our hunts and stuff like that. But if there was an opportunity with the right people, with, in the right circumstance to like, to make a film or something like that, I think we'd be into it.
Well, and you guys know the demand of it. It is not easy to be out there filming hunts and capturing hunts and producing hunts at all.
But it's like, I almost would rather, like if I'm running the camera, I'm just as happy.
Yeah.
That's because if I say I'm filming Zach, he kills a buck, my thought process is that could have very easily been me. I killed that
just
deer.
as successful in the case.
And it's a blast. I mean, there's one thing about it. If I die today and then my son gets married and has children and I'm dead, he can go, hey, this was your papaw.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
And he can hit YouTube and they can see my emotion. Yep. They can hear me speak. My great-grandfather, I'm looking at black and white pictures.
Exactly.
And I'm hearing stories from my relatives. My grandchildren, great-grandchildren, on down the line are going to be able to see me for years to come. They're going to be able to know who I am because I ain't no different on that damn video as I am sitting at this table. And they're going to see my facial expressions, hear me, and it ain't never going away. And that's the greatest damn thing.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Yeah. That's a really cool way to look at it.
I mean,
that.
I guess the same could be said for us.
That's exactly right. You think of the episodes you've all done.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm going to go listen to my dad talk for 182 episodes, 3 hours apiece.
That's right.
Let's see. We'll find out who he was.
Yeah.
And they will be able to know who you are from sitting here listening to you.
Wonder how long
and
it would take
watching your
you.
facial expressions.
Wonder how long it would take you. Like if you're like, hey, I want to know who Jeremy Flynn was. I want to know who Jared Prussia was. I'm going to sit down today and start from episode 1.
There probably is at least 600 hours of produced podcast right now.
It is fun even to. Because we, I admitted to you earlier, I watch our own stuff sometimes. It's like, it's fun to see the growth. Like every once in a while I'll go back and see episode, 1 through 10 somewhere in there. I'm like, that was rough. You know what I mean? Like it just from whatever we had set up here, what our thought, you can see our thought, and it's funny even now, like, so episode 183 or whatever we're at here, it's like, there's a cadence that we've just developed. It's in tandem with Jeremy and I's dynamic that we had, I think, already, and that's obviously grown over 3-4 years too. But it's just it's come so far, you know, and it's fun to be in this position where we are now, where it's like we can share it with other people. There's an unlimited number of people that we want to continue. There have been times I've always like, well, we've talked to pretty much everybody, It's just like, but it's like quickly we shake that off and we're like, dude, there's so many things happen. There's so much things that are always happening. So to be in this position, it requires, I think, a genuine curiosity and a genuine passion for the future of the industry, the things that we're talking about, like even on a day-to-day basis. And like that's what keeps it interesting. And we love it. You know what I mean? So we're going to do it anyways. Like, and I'm actively pursuing these conversations with these types of people, with you guys, and it's fun to see that other people are interested in the same thing, then that comes from just the growth of the channel or whatever. So,
oh yeah.
So I guess for everybody listening, YouTube,
Yep.
big
YouTube,
and then Instagram, Facebook, the works on the social side.
Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And goal is like, an episode per week. Is that what's kind of dropping right now?
Two.
Right now
We're rolling two
Wow.
a week.
Very cool.
Two long forms, and then
through turkey season.
Yeah, and then we'll slow down. We'll go to one a week through the summer with hound training, frog season.
Yep.
And scouting.
And then as soon as the fall picks up.
As soon as the fall picks up, we'll go to 2 a week. Kicking off with Zach's big buck he killed last year. It's going to be a 3 or 4 part series. Which
you made me hold that off. You think of that?
Holy cow!
Yeah.
How big was that one?
160.
He's right at 160, but it was just.
But
the
we'll have to get back on here and tell y'all about that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because it's like it was a pursuit.
When are you going to put that one out?
Coming back through here at some point, like scheduled?
Yeah, it's either Friday or Saturday next week.
Okay. I was thinking more like in a few months, but fine.
I'll be in Dallas.
I tell you when we could do it. Seriously, and we'll get together on the dates. It would be a good time. We're going up to Hunt Stock in July.
Oh yeah, there
Dude,
you go.
You know what? What's his name?
Pat Guyett.
Yeah,
he
Pat
invited us.
Oh shit, dude!
Truthfully, we kind of chickened out. I was like, and we're even at that point because he's like, "Can you guys come and do live podcast or something?" And I was like, "I don't know."
It's such a diehard show.
Is
Pat's such a great guy. It's diehard hunters. Like it's
well, see, and I don't think that the opportunity. I think Pat would still have us. I just didn't.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the format that we'd want to come and do. Truthfully.
Well, we need to get
when
better
is it?
with that.
July 15th to the 18th.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this
we're
whole
coming
time
through.
I've been sitting here, I thought this damn chair had wheels on it, and I just about wrecked.
So that either way, you all could come up there because I'm sure that you could get in there.
Sure. We've been talking about trying to. We need to figure out our on. Well, we have.
Well, it's
to.
one of
We've
those
got
things where it's like I think that people love the podcast, but like it's just like so for tack and stuff. Like people are like, "You have a booth?" I'm like, "No, we're just gonna go."
You don't have to have a booth.
Hang out, spend time with people.
Pat, I mean, I think a great thing for you all is you do 5 to 10 minute, 15-minute segments with those diehard trackers up there, the deer hunters, because that tracking is a total.
Are you guys tight with Pat?
Like you're talking about like the main guys and everybody doing tracking up there?
If you guys can help us understand a format to come up and do that, like I think we'd be into
We're going to buy the mobile studio. We've kind of started piecing it together here because we're going to need it for the mobile roadshow up at the DeQuistos.
So
Iowa.
that was kind of the first one. Like we told the DeQuistos, because we're going out to their farm for the mobile hunter roadshow. Easy, don't spell that.
Good thing there's a cap on that thing.
I drank
it
one
wouldn't
of
be
those
the first time.
I drank a bunch of them.
Oh,
not mine either, but
yeah. Oh yeah, that'll get you.
But yeah, so if you all don't make it, we could stop in.
Yeah,
fine. Well, either way,
yeah,
either way, that'd be cool.
I think that's good time and talk about that. You guys are gonna have that launching coming out. Yeah,
maybe we really drink some bourbon on that one.
Yeah, we plan on maybe coming up.
Dude, if you guys need a place to stay, whether for this or
we'll
pass it through to hunt and stuff, dude, we're close by. You guys got some.
And the same
some
with
friends
us.
here,
I mean,
so.
you all really think about sometime coming down and experiencing.
We've been talking about it for years.
I want this one to come down.
I do too,
for sure.
I do. Next year you're in. I'll go ahead and tell you, just to do it.
What we'll do, if you want to come down and deer hunt.
I've killed turkeys.
Oh, I know that.
If you want to come down and deer hunt,
it ain't the same killing turkeys
we'll
as
help
killing turkeys
you.
with us. We have a hell of a good time
deer hunting, but you have to come turkey hunting first. You have to hunt.
He'll do that if you make that a prerequisite.
What was the contingency?
If you want to come and bow hunt the bow hunting only area, you have turkey hunt first.
Sounds like a hell of a freaking plan.
It's like I do. Dude, we're spoiled. We're spoiled, man.
I know you're spoiled, dude.
We're spoiled.
But there's nothing like it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
When you see those mountains, they're intimidating, but it is unreal.
He'd love the physical challenge of it, though.
No, it is what it is. The sale would be to come and do it with you guys.
That's right.
That's what's appealing.
It's the sharing.
To come and experience it with you.
It's the sharing.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if we kill anything. We're going to kill good time.
Oh, if he comes down to bow hunt in only counties, he's gonna try to kill something.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean that's the.
I'm
purpose.
coming to murder.
That's where the fire is
Pink
at.
nest.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, we like.
Dude, we really do appreciate
we like
it.
to kill stuff.
Yeah.
No.
All
Yeah,
right.
we appreciate y'all having us on.
No, man. Let's make
looked-
sure
Seriously,
we
you guys
do
are
it in
welcome
July.
anytime.
Yeah, man.
If you're passing through,
Yep.
yeah, we'll have you.
July would be an awesome time. I think talk about that. Talk about your hunt to get. I mean, by the time we get to like that part in July, we're just like full mass, ready to
Yeah, I'm full vein.
just ready to go.
I'm
man.
I'm all firmed up.
Harder than Japanese arithmetic, by
I'm
God.
all firmed up in purple right now, buddy.
So hard a cat can't scratch it.
Oh shit!
Oh, here, John.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Well,
no, baby, I'm driving.
yeah, there you go.
Buckle up, buddy. Yeah,
Hell, I felt
swallow
like I
her
drank
up.
more than that.
No,
Yeah,
that'd be good.
They probably want me to drink that and calm me down on the road a little bit.
Was that with Bo and Johnny? We drank a whole bottle and a half.
Yes.
God.
Yeah, dude, you know who's big drinker? Well, I don't call them as big drinkers, but Allie and Nick.
Oh, yeah, I know them real good.
We went through a whole bottle last time they were here.
Yeah.
I think Nick was in the bathroom puking during
Nick
half
pukes
the
while during the
episode.
podcast. I'm
They're
pretty sure.
great. They're great.
They are great.
Allie's
Yeah.
just drinking them under the
Yeah.
table.
She's the real deal, isn't she?
Oh, no, she's hardcore.
Oh yeah.
People don't give her credit.
No,
She's hardcore.
no, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've told her straight up. I was like, man, you know, out of the gate before I knew her, I was like, I have my doubts just because you know what's out there on the internet.
That's right.
As soon as you meet her, there you're like,
Oh, no.
shit.
Her and Nick are cool as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
we've been to dinner and
The first time-
socialized with them.
First
quite a
time we
bit.
ever like hooked up with those guys, we went out. We just like we were kind of like the last two left or something. We're like, you guys want to get dinner or whatever? And yeah,
It's after ATA show.
after ATA, yeah. And Nick goes, Nick's like kind of into fitness and stuff, and he goes, so you juicing or what? You know, what's the deal? And I said, no. I was like, no, dude, no. Here's what I'm doing or whatever. He goes. He's like, I've been thinking about trying to. He's like, I've been thinking about trying to cycle. You know, he's like, yeah. And I was just like, I mean, I wouldn't. I don't want to recommend. I wouldn't necessarily. He's like, I might. I don't think.
I mean, to each their
but, you
own.
know,
I don't think he has.
Who's your guy? If you had a guy, who would be your guy?
You know, I don't think he's balled up enough to try it.
No.
But
That's funny, man.
anyways, I was playing the camera there.
Well,
Oh,
yeah. Well, we appreciate you boys stopping in, and we'll definitely get you back on. And yeah, have safe travels, kill some birds, bust some beaks up in the New England states. And yeah, for everyone listening, we appreciate you tuning in this week to 183, the guys from Untamed, and we'll see y'all next week.
Later.
Take me